time to be I know you want a rock star. I can't be the one for you, but you let me wait here. I'm impatient, but I take it. I know you know that I won't be fine. Let me fix your scars. Just one call. Oh my God, you gotta be down if you want that. You can hide away inside. You want that, baby? I can read your mind. Tell me to give it a try. You want that, baby? I'm desperate for right. Want me to step into your eyes while I'm putting my two hands on your thighs. Tell me to have you at a night. You want that, baby? I'm desperate for right. You cannot tell me that you're innocent. While all your clothes are falling off right now. Okay, your body tastes of cinnamon. Now you want me to turn you upside down. Baby, I finally know what it really feels like. Wow. Tell me you want it just as much as me, baby. I won't be far. Let me fix your scars. Just one call. Oh my God, you gotta be down if you want that. You can hide away inside. You want that, baby? I can read your mind. Tell me to give it a try. You want that, baby? I'm desperate for right. Want me to step into your eyes while I'm putting my two hands on your thighs. Tell me to have you at a night. You want that, baby? I'm desperate for right.
I need more space for these dogs. Trevor, I know. I'm asking.
We can find a small business loan that works for you.
He wants to know if you could help us open a second location.
We can help you grow. For every banking need, there's only First Source Bank.
FirstSource.com. Member FDIC.
I'm 32, juggling family, working full-time, and earning a bachelor's degree. At University of Phoenix, I earn career-relevant skills with every 5-week course. Skills I can use now, not just after graduation.
Earn skills in weeks, not years. Visit phoenix.edu.
Here comes trouble, putting on a show. Like a domino, I fall. Another bottle, don't know what to say. Send me on my way to you. I know you're all that I want, but I don't even know your name. So don't go and leave me lonely. I'll show you another way. And you say it's a one-night thing, but I want something more than that. So don't go and leave me lonely. I'll show you another way. So don't go and leave me lonely. I'll show you another way. Eyes wide open, holding out for you. Tell me that it's true. Oh, did you notice? I saw you over there, looking like a heartbreaker. I know you're all that I want, but I don't even know your name. So don't go and leave me lonely. I'll show you another way. And you say it's a one-night thing, but I want something more than that. So don't go and leave me lonely. I'll show you another way. So don't go and leave me lonely. I'll show you another way. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Shake it up with Vital Protein's new ready-to-drink collagen and protein shake. The only high-quality 30-gram protein shake with collagen to support healthy hair, skin, nails, bones, and joints. 0 grams of added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and definitely no carrageenan. So you don't just age gracefully, but you age powerfully too. Vital Proteins. Stay vital. Tap the banner to find out where to buy.
Lowe's knows that more projects mean more tools. For a limited time, new and existing MyLowe's Rewards credit card members can get 12-month special financing on purchases of $299 or more, in-store and online. Don't wait to get the things you need. Get special financing today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Now through August 27th, choose 12-month special financing on purchases of $299 or more. Offer subject to credit approval and cannot be combined. Minimum monthly payments required. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
I'm 32, juggling family, working full-time, and earning a bachelor's degree. At University of Phoenix, I earn career-relevant skills with every 5-week course. Skills I can use now, not just after graduation.
Earn skills in weeks, not years. Visit phoenix.edu.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
Didn't mean forever, yeah. Didn't mean forever, yeah. Didn't mean forever. to say. I don't know where to start. Words feel like we're strangers, drifting only apart. I'm overheated. Stuck in the same old feeling, feel so detached. My vocal cords are bleeding, overreact. Oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. Words feel like we're strangers, drifting only apart. I'm overheated.
I just got my first paycheck. What do I do now?
We can help with that.
I won my first tournament. So now what?
You can deposit that check with the First Source mobile app.
Now that I've got endorsement deals, should I make this business official?
We can find a small business loan that works for you.
FirstSource.com. Member FDIC.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. Tremfya, guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clear skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate.
I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm trying to make it better. But I'm only human. Some days it's hard to move on, so I keep fighting every day. I don't blame myself. I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm trying to make it better. But I'm only human. Some days it's hard to move on. I'm only human.
Talk to me. Why have you been avoiding me so much lately? Did I do something wrong, or was it maybe something I said? I'm going crazy thinking about it.
Didn't do anything.
Say you're sorry, darling. Say it's all your fault. Say you miss me and you wish that you answered my calls. Say you're not done falling. Say our love is art. Say you're waiting for me, that you wanna press restart.
Something is obviously bothering you. Suddenly you're Mr. Distant.
Say you're sorry, darling. Say it's all your fault. Say you miss me and you wish that you answered my calls. Say you're not done falling. Say our love is art. Say you're waiting for me, that you wanna press restart.
Oh, and good luck with your buddy in the Mercedes.
Every child deserves a place where they feel seen, supported, and safe. At Virtual Preparatory Academy, we help students find that place where they fit in just as they are. Whether looking for a fresh start or a learning environment that truly understands them, we offer flexible options, free tuition, caring teachers, and a community that celebrates every unique path. Virtual Preparatory Academy, where children don't just learn, they shine. Enrollment subject to eligibility requirements. Services may vary. Visit vprep.com for full details.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with savings of 20% or more on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save even more with lower everyday prices on over 10,000 items, now including select varieties of chicken, bacon, and cheese. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I need more space for these dogs. Trevor, I know. I'm asking.
We can find a small business loan that works for you.
He wants to know if you could help us open a second location.
We can help you grow. For every banking need, there's only First Source Bank.
FirstSource.com. Member FDIC.
A thank you letter from Sherry to her Parkview doctor.
4 years ago, I was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer with no offers of hope or options. I'll never forget meeting you, Dr. McCollum. You were ready to help me and make sure I was not alone. You and your team have become part of my family. I am no longer waiting to die. Rather, I'm looking for my next moment to live. Thank you.
Share your story at parkview.com/stories.
Do Crohn's disease symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya guselkumab may help. At 12 weeks, rapid symptom remission was achieved in most patients taking Tremfya, and some experienced visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Explore what's possible and ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Maybe I'm an alien.
Cause it's gonna be me. Yeah, it's just me because not even catches up on the screen. What the? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hold My Pen Promptcast, or as we like to call it, the Hold My Pen Promptcast. we got some shit going on behind the scenes tonight. So just bear with us, please. Just bear with us. We're doing the best we can with what we got, and what we got ain't much. Okay. So how everybody's doing today? I look really weird up in the box. Oh, I do. It's like all this black space and then me in the corner. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm used to doing some shit. How am I? I am hanging the hell in there. We got a great show when we ever get started tonight. Of course, Cash, our shining little black and white star on the background, on the back. You can't see this, but she looks really freaking cool in black and white. It just, she does. She looks freaking amazing right now, and I'm like, why can't everybody else see this? But I just see it. So what? She's completely outdone us again this week. I swear to God, if we get to the million, it's gonna be because of Cash. It's not. I would love to say it was because of me, but it's not. It has absolutely not a damn thing to do with me. Other than the fact that here we are to save the day, and other that shit. I know. You can still use sign language. Hold that thought for just 1 second. I'm working on a car from hundreds of miles away. I'm doing this, and I managed to finish my prompt for the night. So there will be something by Julie DeFisher tonight, and It's a new story in a new series that why I created it, I have no freaking idea. But you can't hear anything. Nobody can hear me? Trisha, can you hear me? Trisha can hear me. Okay, so Trisha can. I'm like, am I talking to myself? Okay, Cash can. Okay, but yeah, I'm. Thank God for spell check. Hold up signs. I really don't have any signs, but I need to mix them. Uh, no, I've got a friend in New Jersey that her boyfriend's car is messed up. So they're trying to figure out what. Why are you doing stabby? I don't want to see stabby. Okay, Cash, you can be right back. But they're trying to figure out whether it's the battery or it's the alternator or what I thought it was. So like literally minutes before the show, she reaches out to me and she's like, "Hey, this is what's going on," and I'm like, I'm hundreds of miles away, but I am diagnosing cars and walking people through fixing them. So it's funny, it's hilarious, it's what I do on a day-to-day basis. Hmm. At the little thingy bobs. Well, okay. We got an Izzy. No, this is not a hibachi hero.
Yes and no.
What do you mean, yes and no? You're in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, are we working? No? Okay.
Now there's nothing there. I don't know what's happening. I did. Please hold. Uno momento.
Yeah. Uno momentos, people. Uno momentos. We're pulling it together. You would think this was our first night on freaking Twitch, but it's not. This is just a weekly thing that we deal with. It goes on and on and on. Goes on and on and on. No, we are totally fucking unhinged. Very chaotic. But that's our brand. I mean, honestly, if we actually want to think about it, like we get down to the nitty damn gritty, we are unhinged for a very specific reason. This is a lot of times my only human interaction in a week. Because I have a little, and while he goes to school, my little and his daddy drive me insane. And I don't leave the house. So here we are. So, hi, Bobby. Are you trying to clean up mommy's writing? Or are you just guarding her from doing it?
I don't know what she's doing at this current moment because when she started, hey, watch that foot. When she decided she needed to be right there, she started kicking a bunch of function keys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when everything went to shit.
Somebody reported your account.
What?
That doesn't make no sense.
Nope, sure don't.
Wouldn't be the Discord account.
Yeah, it still says getting ready.
I would say, do we need to drop and come back? But at this particular point, we've already been on for an hour. Might as well just keep continuing.
I don't know. Let me see.
Okay, send Kesha a new invite.
Well, it wouldn't let me send an invite. Hey, there we go. Okay, now she's finally off that screen. Okay, send invite, brand new, brand spanking new.
Keep our fingers crossed here.
Well, if I'm being too loud, Maggie May, maybe you should move. This is my time with my friends.
And we're still black and white, backstage only, and no mic.
That is so weird.
Kesh, did you look and see if Twitch had an update on your phone?
Oh, Twitch did have an update earlier this week for iPhone, and I already updated mine.
That's why Kesh was like,
we go. I'm in the right spot.
There we go.
Okay. How's that ring taste? How's that ring taste? Ma'am?
Is yours attacking rings too? I have no idea why Stormy keeps doing it, but she does.
You want to go away? No, you want to block the whole camera with your stripper
Going to
clothes.
uninstall and
Got it.
reinstall. That sounds like the best way, because what happened probably is it did the update, but there might have been a glitch in it, because I know earlier this week I had to do it, and then it told me it had a failed update, so I had to uninstall and reinstall it.
Get. Ma'am.
Ma'am.
No. Oh, I love that you are so cute and adorable, but. Hola, ¿cómo está? Miss Maggie is in her feels because she's been assaulted multiple times this week, has not been eating or drinking well. There we go. All right. Be like, all right. I think Julie can add. There we go. Coolios. Okay. Compose. Hold my pen. Attach document. Put my word count in the subject line. Attach. Sent. There we go. Be right back. More drink.
All right, guys. I'm back. For how long? I have no idea. The husband's at work tonight, so it's just me and Little here. And as such, I'm doing what I normally do. So, anywho, as soon as Izzy comes back, we got an ad starting in 5 minutes. We're just batting 1,000 tonight, and it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Shit's going to hell in a handbasket, but what isn't it? So we're fine. We have a share button. Oh, we do. So, anyway, how's everybody else's weekend? Let's talk about my tattoos. Well, I have 4 technically. One's been redone 3 times, but I have 4 tattoos. I have the one on my back that not a lot of people get to see. That is a Celtic knot 4-leaf clover with tribal flames. That one right there is the Superman symbol with a T instead of an S and 2 dog tags. It's got to get finished. That is for my first fiance who died overseas. Then I have the tribal knot with a heart in it. I have the Harlequin Batman symbol. I've got a lot more coming. The meanings behind it, the one on my back was a $200 bet. That well, let's face it. I obviously won. The memorial tattoo for Tommy. That's a sore subject that we will not be getting into right now. Just know that his personality does appear a lot in my books. The Celtic knot with a heart in it is one of those things that me and my mom. My mom never had a tattoo. Always wanted a tattoo, but never got a tattoo. She had fibromyalgia, so well, she already had enough problems with pain. She didn't want to have anything else. There's one of those. The I am a version of Harley Quinn. So I have the Batman black and red. I've got a couple more coming in to play very soon. I I'm debating on whether to do a Pooh Bear and Piglet for me and my mom, because my mom was Piglet and I was her Pooh Bear, or do a Spade with a 13 in the middle because she was born on the 13th. Uh, one of those things. The placement of them is the funny part.
Ad starts in 20 seconds.
15 seconds, yeah. Izzy's tattoos are more elaborate than mine.
It does kind of sound like one, but
It actually is a gang tat, depending on where you're at. But in mine, it represents one of my characters because one of my in Crossroads, my character has a spade tattoo on her left shoulder, and Nikki, which is her male counterpart in the story, has one on his inner arm.
yeah, I used to get that as well. Um, what if you go to your notifications and click on the Hold My Pen Promptcast wants to collaborate, click to accept? Are you able to do that?
Oh no! Ink therapy is my therapy. Uh, I just
Right?
can't afford that. Like I can't afford regular therapy. I can't afford ink therapy right now.
Yeah, no, I wanted to get a tattoo. I was so super freaked about it. And so 2 months before my 19th birthday, Kesh, who is struggling to get in the uh stream tonight, actually took me to her tattoo artist, which is actually, not too far from where I used to live. And I have a long stem red rose with the words Miss Kitty on my hip. And then on my 19th birthday, I got a Pegasus back here with on my shoulder blade with rainbow wing. And then I waited nearly 25 years to get another tattoo. Um, and what I did was I got this one. I don't know if you can see it. Where am I at there? So it's Route 66 symbol with violets. And then there's a ribbon across it that says pop. And underneath the ribbon, it says 1955 to 2021. Uh, gave my new tattoo artist, here's the symbolism I want. And Kino just was amazing, threw together exactly what I envisioned in my head and did it beautifully. And then for my 45th birthday, I went and got this one recreated by Kino back here, and it's beautiful. It's stunning. They hand drew it from an image I gave them, and so now I have my Pegasus wings on my back, like I wanted to do 25 years ago. So, yep, yep, yep. And I'm not done. We all need some ink therapy again. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but
Well, I mean, we were gonna go and get tattoos while we were in
Green Bay.
Wisconsin, and
Yep.
that didn't work out the way it was supposed to.
No.
The tattoo artist that was actually supposed to be at Green Bay um, had other engagements and ended up having to back out.
All right. Well, an hour in, we have two of our hosts up here, Julie DeFisher and Izzy Kraus, and I just felt the floor shake a bit because somebody launched themselves from somewhere. Yes, 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 and Kesh, I think, has more than Julie and I combined.
Right.
So
These aren't the last ones I'm getting. I'm getting this one redone as soon as I can find the right artist. The black's got to be reshot in it. The dude did it. It was horrible. That took me 4 hours. Not because I kept stopping the artist, which should have been a 2 hour freaking tattoo. He kept stopping for various reasons. Um, I've got to get uh 80 put in one side and 03 put in the other of the dog tags. And the flake that you see around it is actually supposed to be kryptonite green flames around the Superman symbol. They called my first fiance Superman. He was a little short shit that thought he was bigger than life, and he was bigger than life. But it just, yeah.
and fun
Got more.
fact, more than 2 decades ago, I met Julie and that man, uh, because my first husband and he were in the same unit in the military. So, this friendship was 2 decades in the making. Book Talk brought us back together.
Really, it did. I mean, out of all the fucking shit that Book Talk is known
Known for.
for, um, it was what brought me and Izzy back in the same hemisphere, let alone in the same neck of the woods.
Yep.
And yes, we were talking for almost a year and a half before we realized.
Before we put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. um.
I was like, "No wonder I like this bitch."
Right. Um. But honestly, I'm looking at a memorial tat for my mom, and I got one for my, or I'm getting one for my grandpa, uh, who is the reason my son is named the way he's named.
Yep.
Uh, and my grandfather was Navy, so I'm trying to find somebody who can do a Navy pinup girl holding on to an anchor, and which you would think would be super simple, but apparently it is not. And I'm like, I have to have the right person do it because it is going on my leg. All my tattoos so far have been upper body. Uh, I have always said that I would not go below my elbows, but because I deal with the general public at this particular junction in my life of approaching 40 at the fucking speed of light, I'm like, fuck it. If I do go back into the workforce, other than what I do here, I'm going to be working in a factory. Nobody really gives a damn. So, oh yeah,
Yeah.
bigger than life is always the best quality. And you
Uh,
gotta,
I w I work in finance. And yet
you work in
eh
finance, but you also work in a call center.
yeah, but, like, even our people on the front lines have tattoos. Our company is probably like, literally a bunch of people that I have talked to who know where I work, and they're sitting here, they're going, "I have never seen a place so I mean, we have people with green hair, blue hair, pink hair on the front line, and it's these little old ladies and little old gents that come in. They don't even bat an eye at it. They really don't, and it's just the nature of our service that it's like we're kind, we help, and it's just we have developed such a wonderful, welcoming atmosphere. We are part of the community and we are community focused and driven. And so, therefore, um, people like clamor to try and figure out how they qualify for membership where I work banking wise. So, yeah, it's an awesome place, and I can't Look, I tried 15 years getting into this place, and now I'm there. So, like, that says something. All
It
right.
really
Well,
it says a whole lot about you, or not only about you, but about the company that you work for.
yeah. I
But
mean, when the CEO got Kelt. Yes. Kelt. Uh yeah, when the CEO stands up and say, "Hey, you know what? Our membership loves us because we have gas. Does everybody know what gas stands for?" And everybody screams out, "Give a shit." So, yeah, we're says something about the culture that we've created. So, I try to extend that to the culture that I have helped Julie create here with Hold My Pen Promcast and how we came up with the name, even because for just almost a full year, it didn't even have a name. It was just Julie's weekly writing prompt challenge, and which was great, but it started to expand beyond that, and it's like, Julie and I are rednecks, so it's kinda like, "Hold my beer," except it's, "Hold my pen, I got this." So, yep,
and the whole thing is, everybody kept telling us, it's too long, and I'm sitting there like, no, it's just the right amount because you're gonna remember the
you're
hold
gonna
my pepper.
remember. Yep, and the fact that people can shorten it to "Hold my pen."
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
hold my pen. It's like hold my beer or hold my coffee. And I do have a hold my coffee. I over on
YouTube.
the
Yep,
I have one that's called Hold My Coffee. Why? Because if I tell you to hold my coffee, it usually means I'm off to do some sketchy shit, and I don't want anything to happen to that coffee because that's a tragedy.
doo-dah, doo-dah. Alright, let's see, I'm gonna send another invite.
Keep our fingers crossed. Everybody,
Fingers
cross your
crossed.
fingers. Say a prayer.
Yep. Now, we have already been live with this scuff for an hour and 15 minutes. It is what it is. This is, it is what it is. So, whatever. I don't know what Julie actually went over at the beginning, but here's the rundown, real freaking quick for those who, fast forwarded. I still have to go back to the YouTube channels and like put timestamps in. I really do. Um, so in our link, okay, to our beacons link, you can find sign up for our newsletter so that every Monday afternoon you get our newsletter talking about our prompters books, new releases, what the schedule is, what all the prompts were for that week, and the officially selected one. Uh, you can reply to that with your submission. You have until 3 p.m. Central Time. If you're going to be late, just shoot us a message in Discord. From our Beacons link, you can also find the invite to our Discord, where this kind of shenanigans, this kind of unhinged acceptance and reality is completely unfiltered 24 hours a day whenever we're in there. And we're a full stop shop. All right. Now you'll also notice I am wearing a shirt with books on it. This is our other group that we are a part of, the Authors Pub. Some of them have joined recently the Discord. They didn't want to jump in and cramp our style, and we're like, no, honeys, we were trying to make sure that what we were
We
doing wasn't
y'all.
overloading y'all. So, it's our group is a whole hell of a lot of no apologies necessary. We get it, we understand it, and we understand when you can't submit. Don't apologize. You got life. There's been times where Julie and I haven't submitted. We understand that it's coming from a place of like, "I'm so sorry I wasn't able to do it." Well, that's fine, honey. Don't worry about that.
It's like, are you
Sometimes
okay? Because
are
like,
you okay?
okay,
What can we do?
like tonight we got PA Power, Anonymous, Sierra McCormick, we have a lot of them that did not submit. Well, CR just made, or it was supposed to go back into the woods this week. We have no idea if they've made it into the woods. We don't know what's going on. We're waiting on bated breath for updates on that. Then you have uh PA, he's got a lot going on in his life, responsibilities at work. It's a bunch of shit. And plus, they have their anniversary tomorrow. So I'm like, no, don't even worry about it. It's okay. It's all good. Uh but then you also have I reached out to Anonymous today. Um Anonymous has just been feeling under the weather.
Emotional damage.
Week. So it's like I'm like, look, do I need to send soup?
Right?
Because that's what I do. I'm Southern, so quite literally, we either make you freaking dinner or we just send you soup.
Yep. Stavros hasn't been around in a while. She's been hitting the back half of book 2 really heavy. So it's like we get the apologies, but you don't need to waste your breath. We understand life gets shitty.
Lifey.
And so just tell us what we can do to help. If you need us as a sounding board, if and we're not professionals by any means, but if you're like, I just don't know what to do, maybe talking it out with a, non-judgmental ear will help get through it. So, but let's get this show on the road. We do have 5. If Kesh is able to get in, great. I've constantly sent the invite to try and get her up. But it is what it is. And
the show must go on up here, unfortunately.
The show must go on. And I know I told her that she was going to be reading her own damn prompt this week because of the German. But we'll try to see. We'll try to see. Up first is our first prompter outside of Julie herself, Trisha Jones. Let's see how she wrecks us this week.
Right.
My friends and I were hiking in the woods. We were looking for a good place to camp for the night when my friend John stopped. What's wrong? I asked. I thought I saw something, he said, starting to walk slowly while looking behind him. I'm sure it was nothing, Al said. We continued down the hiking path until we came to a small clearing just off the path. We set up our tents and made a campfire. We ate dinner and sat around the fire talking about where we were hiking to the next day. When John looked up and went quiet, Al and I turned to see what he was looking at. I saw a large creature with shining eyes. It was pretty far away from us. What is that? Al asked. I'm sure it was just a bear looking for food, I said, not believing myself. It moved closer, and it was way too big to be a bear. Seriously, what is that thing over there? John said, freaking out. Al covered John's mouth. Shh. If we stay quiet, it might go away, he whispered. We started to put the fire out as quickly and quietly as we could before going into our tents. I zipped mine shut, then sat curled up in the center of it. I watched the shadows, hoping and praying whatever it was would stay away. My prayers were not answered. I heard it moving closer to our campsite. I buried my face against my knees, not wanting to see it. All I could hear was my heartbeat thudding in my ears. Then I heard the creature's footsteps behind me. I was so scared I couldn't scream as I heard it pushing on the fabric of my tent. I hoped it wouldn't rip and the creature would get bored and leave. After a while, I didn't hear anything, so I lifted my head to see if it was still around my tent. I saw a huge silhouette of whatever was standing in front of my tent. I buried my face again and whispered, "Go away," over and over. I woke up with a start. I am not sure when I fell asleep. I got my nerve up and unzipped my tent. When I looked out, I saw Al and John's tents were there, but looked flattened. I ran out. Al, John, are you okay? They crawled out of their tents. They looked beat up, but they could move. Yeah, I'm sore, but okay, Al said, looking at his tent. Well, this is useless. Mine is just as bad, John said, trying to unflatten his tent. If you all can walk, let's clean up camp and go back the way we came, I suggested. I don't want to spend another night out here. The others agreed. We packed up as quickly as we could. We even gathered up the flattened tents so as not to worry anyone who might come this way. Took a bit longer to leave than when we walked in due to injuries Al and John got. Once we got to our cars, we went home and never went back in the woods again. Dun dun dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's in the woods. I
I don't
don't.
want to know what's in them woods, and depending on where they were located in the United States or outside of the United States, I really don't want to know what was in them woods.
I don't. I don't. I don't.
We don't play.
We don't
They were in
play.
the Appalachian Mountains. We really don't play.
We really don't play. And you know what? I have seen every single episode of Supernatural. Nope.
Don't go in the woods.
Nope.
Don't go in the woods.
Now, if it's my family woods, we're okay. I know them like the back of my hand. But
like I would. Okay. Well, I do know the woods on the side of my house like the back of my hand. I still know during certain times of the year I don't walk off in the woods. Not without a heavy duty flashlight and possibly a pistol. Because I know what's in the woods.
Yep. I know what's in them woods. So I'm not afraid of what's in them woods. But I also know what them is in them woods. But I'm afraid of what's in them woods.
Yeah. Damn.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I might have dreams tonight about the woods, and I don't know how I feel about that. All right.
I mean, we are ending on you tonight, so I mean, I
Yeah.
think you did that.
Well, let's not go there. Look, I was struggling at the last minute to get that in, and we're just gonna see how bad I get yelled at. Okay. Now, next up is our newest prompter, Leon. And is that all right if I say out loud what you wrote in this thing? Because this just warms my little redneck heart. Okay. He says, "Hello, here is my infamous work for this week. Thanks for what you ladies do. It's a very fine thing. Even my daughter is wondering if she's going to participate. Leon, the French new guy with the songs."
Hey, look, when we actually talk about our group to other outsiders that aren't typically a part of the whole My Pen Promptcast, we're like, hey, we got a Frenchman.
Mm-hmm.
We got
We
an
have been
Australian.
saying that.
We got a Frenchman.
Yep. Yep. We are proud of our slow but sure international reach.
Right. But thank you so much. I feel very honored and seen.
Right? This thing is driving me bonkers.
We're gonna wonder that in a couple of minutes when you guys read mine.
All right. Now, is this pronounced Nagol or Nagel? I don't want to muck it up. Okay. It's the reverse of Logan. Okay. Nagol.
Nicole. Okay.
Nagol. Yeah. That's. Yeah. Got it. Got it. Okay. Now, of course. Are we talking Logan? Wolverine Logan? Yes, yes. Okay. I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you. Oh, pardon me. Belch. Okay, and it looks to be this is a little bit of fan fiction.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. Don't come for us or Leon in the copyright, whatever. First day. Sorry, it's just that I get very nervous when someone else is driving, I said as the pilot was taking our vessel well past triple the light speed. I must admit, as a cadet, I was used to those kinds of speeds in training, but not being at the helm is a completely different experience. He didn't flinch one bit. He was a seasoned Starfleet officer commissioned to take me and 2 other cadets to our very first assignment aboard the Starship Enterprise. As we got close to our new home, I was amazed at its sheer size, as well as curious about how one would pilot that size of ship across an asteroid field. My name is Tobias McCormick. I was proud about my Scottish heritage, mixed with centuries of ancestors living in Canada, as it had given me the oh-so-famous red hairs Scotland has been known for almost as long as the Middle Age, some 15 centuries ago. As we docked on the Enterprise, we all got out as protocol demanded and waited there to be inspected by our new officer, Lieutenant Zenobia, a human like me. We mostly heard that she was kind of strict, which in all honesty is probably exactly what we needed as young ensigns right out of school. We were 3. One was a Vulcan named Turan, and the other a Klingon named Uvuk. We became good friends along the years, strangely, despite Turan's compulsive need to rationalize everything and Uvuk's appeal for violence. I was often the pacifier in situations, and somehow we maintained camaraderie along those years at the academy. Lieutenant Zenobia arrived. We got up and straightened our postures. Zenobia said, "At ease, you will have all the time for formalities. Now, which one of you has the manifest?" I replied in a small voice, "That's me, sir. Ma'am." Zenobia looked at me with her piercing orange eyes. She had a very feline face, both soft and aggressive, with traits that could have been done with a knife on some sculpture. Zenobia said, "Just call me Lieutenant if you don't know what to say." I was confused and started looking at my feet, but she said with a smile, "Come on, I'm messing with you. I'm much nicer than my reputation," as she took the manifest from my hands. She inspected it, looked at each of us as if to memorize every information on it, then led us to the turbo lift and indicated at what floor each of us had his quarters. Once arrived, I simply let my body fall on the bed as if I okayed him to almost die there, and I crawled out of my uniform and into a comfortable position, already dreaming about the adventures I would have on the next few days. I was aiming at specializing myself in piloting and engineering, as I had always been passionate about the marvel that is interstar traveling, the complexity of calculating courses across the universe thanks to a network of sensors and knowledge that would allow us to avoid meteors and planets, despite advancing at a speed disallowing us entirely from reacting fast enough to be able to actually avoid it. It was fascinating technologies. The part about discovering the planets, the people and the climates, the landscapes, the beauty of the universe was something that I felt was deeply rooted in my DNA. I was at heart a little kid, joyful, but also very capable of making disastrous errors in judging characters. The next morning, as I was walking to the engineering floor to take up my first shift, I got in the turbo lift next to the captain of the Enterprise. As he entered the turbo lift and saw me, he said, "Oh, you must be one of our young new recruits. McCormick? Is that a French name? French name?" I was about to try and answer that as he continued, "You do know I have French roots myself. My family still actually is running the family business in wine back on Earth." I didn't know what to say. He was Jean-Luc Picard, the myth, the legend. Part of me wanted to correct him and explain I wasn't of French origins at all, but I ended up saying, "Yes, Captain, I know all about you. I think people my age pretty much know everything there is to know about you, sir." He reacted with a strange look, both prideful and also trying to maintain humility. Good, good. I'm glad we have another Frenchman on board. We have to talk about our country sometimes. But for now, I have to be on the bridge. Goodbye, cadet, and good luck on your first few days. I thought to myself, I somehow played the conversation right. As intimidated as I was, it was a miracle that I was able to get those few words out. And apart that French origin situation, I felt it went okay. As I arrived in the engine room, I met my friends Turan and Ivok and said the proper greetings for each of them. Turan said, with his usual, what us humans would refer to as a poker face, I had the pleasure of meeting Lieutenant Commander Data when I came here. It was a pleasant discussion, as I had always admired his unemotional approach to things. I was surprised, though, when he mentioned he was glad to have a Romulan on board and that he was glad to spend more time with me to learn about my culture. Romulan, Vulcan, Vulcan. Okay. Evok reacted, saying, I also met someone this morning, Commander Worf, who is a great legend on my planet, as you know. He said he was glad to have a member of his house on the ship, but I am not a member of his house. I didn't want to contradict him, but this was very strange, and I mentioned my very own encounter with Captain Picard and his mentioning of my French roots. We all concluded that something wasn't right there, so we decided together to elect one of us to try and understand what was going on. And as is often the case with my two friends, they properly refused to play the game, and both elected me to be the one to bring the matter. As Lieutenant Zenobia arrived in the engine room and greeted us, asking if we were happy with our accommodations, I tried to ask her, Lieutenant, something very strange happened. Each of us met officers of the bridge, and it seems they are mistaken about who we are. Zenobia's face turned properly white, and I could feel her next words were going to hit me like a whip. She said, Who are you? Ensign. Who you are? Ensign, you are really telling me that not only officers are supposed to know you, but that they are mistaken on your first day? Really? Are you sure you want to continue this course of discussion, Ensign? I was not very much inclined to continue this attempt at grievance about our identities, to say the least, so I replied, Sorry, Lieutenant, this will not happen again. Zenobia maintained eye contact for a very long time. It seemed an eternity, even. I could feel her look hitting me like a dagger. Her intimidation tactics were very effective. I looked at my friends who seemed sorry I had to endure this, but we nonetheless took our shifts and listened to Zenobia's orders. She wanted us to execute a diagnostic for the dilithium containment chamber, something that is not particularly hard to do, but takes a very long time. And it is something that also has a great tendency to fail. So we had to just keep looking at it running slowly. It was obviously punishment for our earlier questions, but it was okay. I thought we probably shouldn't have said anything about it. The day was spent doing the diagnostic, and as we reached the end of our shift, Zenobia said that tomorrow we would have to spend the day in sick bay to pass our onboarding physical, a routine checkup done for new members of the crew. We left and went to eat our supper together with my two friends. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm just all shades of, and I can see it in my head.
I'm sitting over here laughing my ass off. I think I know what's going on, but I'm waiting to see which way Leon went with this. So I'm like,
Yep.
Just waiting.
Just waiting. We arrived in the mess hall, a giant room featuring a bar and multiple tables and replicators so we could make our food and eat there as a group. It was quite crowded already as we arrived. I could see most of the bridge officers at a table already eating and talking about various things. We went to a table next to the entrance quietly, trying to be as discreet as possible, and we started eating as we were midway into our supper. The bridge team was leaving the mess hall, and Captain Picard stopped at our table and said to us, Good evening, ensigns. I hope you had a good first day, and I hope Lieutenant Zenobia wasn't too tough with you. We all looked at each other, and the captain felt our awkward and shy. Yes, it was good, Captain. as something not entirely true. So he said, "What? Did she eat all of your heads already?" With a smirk, as if it wasn't the first time it happened. We didn't want to say anything bad about Zenobia, and we were in a situation where it wasn't possible to say anything that would come out right. So I decided to break the tension and I said, "Captain, to tell you the truth, Zenobia was a little mad at us for mentioning something about Data, Commander Worf, and yourself, and what each of you said to each of us before our first day. I have to confess to you that I am not of French origins at all. I'm, in fact, of Scottish descent, and in no way I'm saying that to you as a grievance. Mistakes happen, sir." Zenobia appeared right behind Captain Picard, who was reacting with an even larger smirk, and she said, No, they don't, ensigns." We were so confused. I couldn't prevent my mouth to open wide, and as I was searching for words that never came, my throat emitted some weird gargoyling sounds that I had no clue it was capable of. Captain Picard, seeing us, and after a long pause, said, "Welcome to the Enterprise, ensigns. That's just a little prank we like to run on newcomers," with a laugh. We were terrorized, but that day we learned some valuable lesson that would guide our future on the ship. Even the most serious of people can also get a laugh sometimes, and we grew very attached to our bridge members for that reason as well. Even with their legendary status, they took the time to prank us and make us spend by far our weirdest day on the ship. Yep.
Leon wrote it.
Leon. That's the first submission to the Promptcast, and I'm here for it. I mean, and these obviously these are rough drafts. I stumbled over some grammar a little bit here and there, and obviously as a Frenchman, you got to doing the whole to English, because trust me, English has some fucked up grammar rules. But yeah, I'm here for it. Welcome to the family, Leon. Welcome to the family.
Well, it's not that your sentences are too long, but there are certain rules within. I've from what I'm seeing, because I was watching as he was reading, because I have it pulled up on my side too. The dialogue and how that is presented and everything like that, I realize is very different than the way we do it. So for me, it's just like, okay. Oh no, that's dialogue. Okay, but I'm over here and I am dying. That was amazing. Bravo, bravo. It's been a while since we've had one that was anything tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and the sentences were kind of long in that they probably could be broken up, reworded, and whatnot. But as a fan fiction, rough draft. See, that's the thing that a lot of people tend not to realize is that all of this shit is rough draft, right? The point is to get it out on paper or screen and figure out where you want to go with the story. Some people are going to have better grammar right out the gate than others. Other people are going to struggle with the storyline. I struggle with the storyline mostly, and Julie's whipping them out over here like no tomorrow. But we all have our strengths, and the point of this is to literally help one another get better and develop your own voice. That's the key point. Your voice is going to be different than my voice is going to be different than Julie's voice, different than Kesh's, different than Shar's. And so
And I mean,
we're all good.
That's why I created this. We all took the exact same damn prompt, and you see that we've all gone 100 different ways with it. Especially since I'm up next, and please don't judge too harshly. Uh, because again, as Izzy said, I can take this and run with freaking storyline after storyline after storyline. But ask her how many of them are completed. Just because I got a fucking idea does not mean any of these are freaking complete.
And Julie has trouble with run-on sentences and
Oh, yeah.
redundancies and whatnot. And This rough draft is the starting point. You're gonna go over your works over and over and over again until you're satisfied. So, oh damn. Hey, no, that was great. Driving it, yeah. The fact that McCormick, uh, which is crazy because we have Shar. Yes, this is very much CD. Yeah. C developer prog. Yeah, we're just gonna call you CD.
It's like,
Oh, you
I know
know
CD.
CD. Oh, okay. We know CD. Well, you know CD. I don't know.
I know CD. Who's CD?
I don't know. Oh no, you just said I know CD. So now I'm realizing you're saying
I was
I
answering.
know, comma CD. Those annoying little comma rules that you absolutely hate.
Yes, I know, and I do not. When I'm typing it out, and a lot of times, if you ever see me actually writing, do know that 95% of my shit all starts out capital, and I have to tell myself that that's not a capital, and then I have to remind myself that no, that needs a comma, or no, that needs a semicolon, or there's a bunch of shit, and because of my dyslexia, I can pick it up in other people's shit like nothing. Mine, on
But
the other
not in
hand,
your
is
own.
like, you're right.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so I'm working on what, chapter 1? Because it says tab 5, chapter 1, Reckoner
Yes,
Roll.
that one right
Okay.
there.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Me getting mad at Julie again for yet more badass women, which is not the issue that one thinks it is. Finish the other badass women. Okay.
Finish the other books is what she's getting at.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cuts and cufflinks. Chapter 1, Reckoner Rolls. The buzzing of the old overhead lights could barely be noticed over the screaming of the old jukebox. Wooden walls displayed the colorful past of the old grain mill, now known as the pit stop. Pictures of motorcycle clubs, old farm signs, and various items littered to walls more as a shrine than decoration. Bikers, mechanics, and welders gathered in the little hole in the wall bar more for information than their daily after work beers. For if there was any sign of trouble, whether that be a layoff or a rival club coming into town, the pit always knew first. The pit stop was also a good place to find the odds and ends work, underground races, or even place a few bets if the mood was right. This was one of the few places in town where talk was cheap when the story was good, which was one of the few reasons Riot found herself hanging out there most afternoons after her shift. Head down and hood up while the music blared from the old jukebox, she would wait for one of two people to walk through the door. I think I finally figured out why you always kept your distance. Familiar voice, barely above a whisper, but with enough bass to rattle the windows. Couldn't just be because I don't like crowds. She barely glanced up at the white-haired, burly biker taking the stool next to her. No, darling. You have always kept your back to the wall, checking exits like your life depended on it. Bear signaled for the barkeep. King send you? Riot picked up her drink and took a heavy swallow of the amber liquid. No, you know there would be more than just me if your father sent for you. Then why did you come? It's your birthday. Someone should be here for you. Bear's voice was gentle, but Riot knew there was more to his sudden appearance. You're not a very convincing liar, Bear. Never were. Not even when Mama left. So what's the real reason you decided to ride an hour from the nest? She tilted her head slightly to look at his eye. You were always too clever for your own good. Bear swiveled his body toward her. Look, Jet is going to come walking through that back door any time now. She's going to offer you the main event in the race tonight. Normal Friday night. Look, Princess, you're not the only one noticing the amount of money being thrown at your tires. Bear's voice was low, but Riot caught the edge at his words. I know what you've been doing since you left the club, and unfortunately, I'm not the only one. It's not like you can stop me. Riot finished her drink in one gulp, turning to fully look at him. I'm not Iron Vulture property anymore. Never really was, if you think about it. But here you are trying to tell me what to do. I'm here to warn you and keep you from walking into a trap. I'm the one asking you to stay off the road and the track tonight. Bear turned to her, worry etched on his face. I care about you. I watched you grow up, and while yes, I was the one to help your mama get out of this, I never thought she'd leave you behind with him. Riot held in the sharp words that threatened to spill out. They were never meant for the man that sat before her, but another she hoped to one day watch burn. I'll do what I can, but I don't ride with fear. As the familiar alarm sounded on the back door, she slapped a 20 down on the bar and headed for the back room, knowing far too long about the target on her back. Bright stadium lights blinded the old worn-out asphalt, while engines screamed in the dark like caged beasts behind chain link and caution tape. Cars and bikes alike lined up burning rubber, sending white smoke coiling through the night as money changed hands like prayers at a crooked altar. A perfect breeding ground for every high-rolling gearhead to get in on the action. Whether they were a driver, sponsor, or just someone that didn't like playing by the rules, this was the hallowed ground of the underground. Riot always kept her distance when she was called out to play, and tonight was no different. Keeping her back to the crowd and face shadowed in mystery, she adjusted her gloves before removing her helmet from its perch on her handlebars. She always picked the furthest point from the crowd to steel herself for the ride. As she stood next to Reckoner with its matte black frame humming with restrained violence, there was a charge in the air more than horsepower and exhaust, leaving her more on edge than high alert. The customized Harley Davidson wasn't built for this kind of track. It was a street bike, after all, but she had faith in her skills and respect for the machine. That didn't ease the unsettling feeling in her gut that something, or someone, was amiss. As she tied the skull bandana around her face, Garrick Nolan, her handler, approached. Slot 4. They got you on the inside. Garrick appeared beside her with a burner phone in one hand and a cigarette in the other. You're up after the kid and the Cobra. She didn't answer right away, but he followed her eyes as she scanned the area. Something wrong? Garrick studied her face intently, wondering what was running like a scalded rabbit through her mind. How heavy are the bets tonight? Riot slipped her helmet on, eyes trained on one part of the fence line where the high rollers gathered in their vehicles instead of mixing with the crowd. Garrick lit his cigarette, watching where her eyes were trained. Someone always bets heavy when you're on the field. She glanced over at the lineup. Cars and bikes, local legends, and regional sharks. Some she had lined up on before tonight. Then her eyes settled back on the Bentley parked too far from the crowd. She recognized the tinted windows and tailored edges. That car had been appearing at the vast majority of her races for the last year. Not a racer or sponsor, she muttered, dropping the visor on her helmet. Seriously, who is that thing over there? Nope, Garrick said, letting the smoke escape his lungs. Big money. Corporate plates. Real hush-hush. Word is, he's been backing one of the shells. Her tone turned sharp. Which shell? Garrick shrugged, not understanding why this was unnerving her. Doesn't matter. You win, you get paid. Same as always. But it did matter. It always mattered. Because Riot had started noticing a pattern. A name, a shell, and always that Bentley kept surfacing on the betting slips tied to her races. Someone that moved money like that, like it meant nothing. L. Bishop Holdings. Always hiding behind a middleman. Always betting on her races, but against her. And losing. Riot liked them losing, but she didn't like feeling she was being hunted. Just race, Garrick responded, already stepping back as she mounted the bike. Don't think too much. She laid on the throttle in response, letting out the clutch to take her spot for the final race of the night.
There was a heavy purse on the line for this race, but Riot didn't give two shits about that. She never did. The only thing she could focus on was the sound of her heartbeat and the crowd falling silent behind her. She tightened her grip and listened to her machine's breath around her. The adrenaline pumped through her system as the starting gun fired, and she bared down on the throttle. Reckoner took off like a bullet, and everything else would disappear. No King Cruise, no forced future, no clubs, no rings, cuts, or responsibilities. No deals deciding her fate except the purse. It was only the open strip with Reckoner plastered between her thighs as she blurred through the night. She didn't waste time calculating angles or watching her opponents. She felt the track. She read its pulse, as she had the 100 other times she raced this stretch of asphalt. 4 racers, 2 bikes, 2 street modified imports. The favorite? A candy red Nissan GTR with a custom turbo, piloted by a hotshot named Zane Zero Knox, known for knocking people off the grid with finesse and finish line flair. He'd been bought tonight. Riot didn't need proof. She knew the signs. Zero Cut left to box her in. The second bike, a Ducati out of Nashville, edged toward her rear tire like a bloodhound on a leash. The track curved ahead, a hairpin turn most rookies underestimated. She leaned into it almost parallel to the ground. The world tilted sideways as Reckoner kissed the edge of gravity. Zero hesitated, unsure of her line, and that was his mistake. She gunned it through the curve, brushing a cone so hard it exploded in her wake. She was gone before anyone could blink. The Ducati gave chase, but didn't have her reflexes or her need to win. Not for the money, not for the fame, always for herself. She slid past the finish line, 2 full seconds ahead of the next bike. The crowd roared. Fireworks exploded in the distance, and from behind black glass, the man in the Bentley leaned forward in his seat, disbelief flaring in his eyes. In his dark eyes, she'd beaten him. Again. Old Dominic Distillery was more crowded for a Friday night than usual. Elias Bishop, which was the reason he reserved a private room for his boss. He knew from the tone in Cassian's voice the race didn't go as he had planned. As he watched the footage on his phone, frame by frame, Reckoner cut the turn like a blade through silk. Elias Bishop didn't curse. Cassian would be doing enough of that when he arrived. In his defense, he tried to tell him months ago to leave the ghost alone. But he did hate to lose. He narrowed his eyes at the frozen still of her figure, barely visible beneath the helmet and jacket. No tattoos visible, and no way to pick her out of a lineup. He should know Cassian has had on her track since the first race. Find out who she is, Cassian growled at his assistant, who stood by the lounge window, uncomfortably watching the grainy video again. We've tried. I've tried, and the PI had tried. When are you going to let it go? Bishop looked at his boss, exhausted. No name, no address, just a string of gigs under aliases and cash handoffs. She uses different IDs for transport contracts and never shows her face at any official events. The only thing that keeps coming up is Reckoner and Riot. Then dig deeper. Someone always knows something. Start with the mechanic crews. Yes, sir. Bishop rolled his eyes, like he hadn't already been down that line of questioning. No one in the underground talked to outsiders. Cassian tapped the screen once, then dropped the phone into his lap. His jaw tightened. He didn't need her name, not yet, but he'd find her. Because the longer he watched Reckoner ride, the more he realized he wasn't chasing the win anymore. He was chasing her. Note to self, Rip, Julie, a new one over
the race.
Why are we ripping Julie a new one over the race?
I knew what half that shit meant. I knew what half that shit meant. Because I've been at a racetrack a time or two. I knew what half that shit meant. We gonna have to have a talk.
Did I get it wrong? I mean, I've been racing for a while.
No. Remember how I told you about Four Queens for Four Kings, how you've got this rich world inside your head, but you forgot to put it on the page?
Yes. Oh, evil genius thing. Okay, gotcha.
Let alone you want your audience to kind of understand enough of it. Yeah. 3 words, Julie. And the middle one is.
I'm guessing
iOS! Your iOS wasn't updated. Bish.
It was an update.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're good. You know, all of these technologies. I mean, OBS had to update tonight. My laptop had to update tonight. Like, just one thing. No, I get it. I get it. Like, I keep getting notifications on my iPad, my old iPhone, my current iPhone, and my watch. You know, update this. We're going to update tonight. We're going to update tonight. And then I keep getting them daily. And then I think it updated. But then, no, about 5 o'clock, we're going to update iOS tonight. And I'm like, do it already.
Like, stop teasing me. But nobody else in the comments got anything to say there? And is it Julie is a genius or Julie? You know,
I have a note. I have a note. I have a note.
You gotta. It's
On
not
the
on a screen or on a stream, but she'll yell at me off the camera.
It's right there on my laptop. See there? See there? Oops.
Yeah, I see it.
Right there. It's right there. Okay, now let me put this back up. Click, click, click. You're all right, Cash. We know. Okay.
You're a loss for words. Yeah, you'll rewatch it later.
Oh, still trying to figure out if I want to comment. Please. The whole point of.
Please, no, everybody's up in the comments.
Oh, thank you for following us, CD. That is freaking hellacious awesome. Thank you. We are completely.
Our Discord now too. I don't know. I thought that's what I saw.
Yes, join the chaos.
Join the chaos. Why? Because we're fun.
If we are so fun.
We're just chaotic.
Okay, click. I had this all prepped and ready.
CD,
and then I had to.
Sounds like war's about to start, and then I get into shit, and then before I know what's going on, you have books like this one right here. Let me see if I can grab it without everything falling. You have books like this that come out.
Mm-hmm. We don't even want to talk about the twists and turns in that motherfucker.
And we don't talk about what happens in Mexico. If you want to know what happens in Mexico, go read chapter 9.
Yeah. So twist. The sheer number of twists and turns and trauma therapy that Julie does in her books, and the amount of shit she throws at her female protagonists, like, good God. I get that Julie and I have survived the chaos that the world has thrown at us. But damn. How much can one woman take?
You didn't. I didn't even submit the prologue.
No, you did not. Thank God.
But I got several weeks worth of prompts in there.
Yes, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Now, of course, next up is Kesh, and it's 5,200 words. So that's why she was trying to get on tonight, so that way she could read her own. Because I have COPD, and I'm doing pretty well tonight. Although that might also be because we had a thunderstorm, a quick thunderstorm. You know when you go to the lake and all you can smell is the mud and the worms and the fish. Okay, that's what I smell outside. That's what I smell outside, and there is no lake nearby, just two rivers merging into a third. What's up? Oh, you need 5 minutes. Well, guess what? An ad starts in 5 minutes. Actually, I need to go get some more drinkage. Chat amongst yourselves. We've got basically a 10-minute break here. There we go. Oh, Leon, look, I like your positivity, man.
Yeah.
Like literally, he's projecting. He's projecting it. I can feel it. Kesh is literally going to join this time. I can feel it. I like you.
Yes, we will keep the Frenchman.
We will keep the Frenchman.
Does the CD? Did you have something that you wanted to add about my my story, or? And believe me, once you just come in, it is one of those things. It's like, oh no, you're now indoctrinated into the group. So have fun. But yeah, that has been several weeks in the making. Um, I do have my own style. I have a very interesting style of writing. Uh, and as Izzy says, I trauma dump on my freaking characters, but my characters trauma dump on me. So I mean, like it's a it's a interesting relationship between me and my characters. But I think the funny part of all of it is the American healthcare system doesn't allow me to be able to have therapy. So I work my therapy out. um, this one in particular is my take on a contract marriage. Yes, I'm with Kish on that one. Cry over that one. But yeah, this is my take on a contract marriage where they're not doing it for the reasons that everybody else seems to think they're doing it. Like they're not doing it to save a family member. They're not doing it to um keep themselves okay, that's fine. Um they don't do it to keep themselves from losing something else and then end up falling for the dude in the end for whatever reason. Um Mine is, and it's a billionaire one as well. Uh Well, yeah, tropes after the fact. Well, but that's most of my stories. That's how Destin started. I got really sick and tired of seeing the abused Luna, the second chance mate, again, still abused, still ran through the fucking ringer, and I got sick and tired of it. So I wrote what should have freaking happened. Does that mean my characters don't go through some fucking hell? Absolutely not. But they still stand 10 toes and be like, I can do this with you or without you. Make your choice. And that's, you still make them hurt. I still make them hurt. Yes. But I mean, gotta give them some backstory. Do they always have to have a tragic backstory? No. Oh, what? I mean, Maggie was supposed, but Maggie was part of the prompt of
Nietzsche.
escape.
Nietzsche. He said Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. You'll have to look it up later because I'm not fully sure. I just know the name.
It's like, looking at it.
Thank you, Leon. The guy who said what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, well, he can fuck all the way off.
What didn't kill me didn't make me stronger. It made me easier to freaking deal with. Well, not even easier to deal with shit.
Yeah, yeah. Ash would say comparing you to Nietzsche is kind of neutral. All right. Software is still downloading. That's okay. I'll just go ahead and read so we can get going. Ad break ends in 2 minutes. So, yeah. And since he followed, because we are back in Black Knight territory. And that's Knight with a K. Yes, yes. We knew you meant it as a compliment. It's just you'll get used to us. Promise. Thus far, you have only said good things, Leon. I told you I like you. Okay.
Okay, it's
minute and a half.
I mean, if it's not meant as a compliment, it doesn't matter to me either way. But
right. Hey, how did I know? Wait, how did I know that it was Black Knight territory again? Because Shauna. Oh, and fun fact, right? I just got an ancestry update recently that said that I have no French blood.
Which is weird.
Which is very weird because my grandmother is descended from people who changed their name from Bertouillier, who came from France. So tell me how I don't have French blood when you got a name like Bertouillier. I don't understand. I don't. So fuck ancestry. Ancestry.com. Ancestry.com says that I don't got French blood, but I don't know how much more French you can get other than Bertouillier.
Croissant.
Yep. Yeah, Bertouillier and Sauvigny, those two families just like crisscrossed all the way. I had an ancestor named Clara Bertouillier who married a man named Sauvigny, and Sauvigny's cousin, Clara, married The first Clara's brother, Bertouillier. So the two Claras swapped first names or swapped last names. Oh God. The Sauvignays were cousins, the Bertouilliers were siblings, and they swapped last names. So, you know. They wasn't the first time my family tree didn't fork very far. Wasn't the first time, wasn't the last. Resend invite.
Well, it shows she's in the backstage, but
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing her in backstage. I'm seeing that she's getting ready again. Okay, let me. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, I know. No. But trust me, we don't talk about the Kentucky branch of my family. We just don't. They are very distantly related at this point. And we like that. Okay. Try this again. Invite guests. It says awaiting response. You invited Promethean Death. Pending. I remove it. Go back there. Go back there. Send invite. I don't understand what's going on either. Okay, the invite has been resent. And while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and read this next chapter, which is going to rip our guts out because it's entitled On a Pyre.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh. The only thing Shauna could hear was the sound of her heartbeat and the metal-clad footsteps both in front and behind her. The corridor they were leading her down was dark and smelled of mold and death, the dedicated bones of previous prisoners strewn about the dirt and sand along the walls and in the individual cells. The knight that was in front of her held the chains that were attached to the manacles that bound her hands together. He pulled on the chain, causing her to stumble and fall on her knees, the pain that shot up her leg making her protest at being dragged forward. He tugged the chain again, causing her to fall forward and land on her stomach, the rocks and sand on the floor of the dungeons digging into her skin through her clothes. They continued down the dimly lit passage, the knight in front holding the chains tightly as she slid along the ground like a sack of rocks, her tears and cries of pain and fear ignored by both men tasked with taking her to where the piles of wood that spelled her death were. The knight in front continued along, not looking back to see what was going on behind him, or that she had flipped onto her back, her head hitting every small bump on the stone floor beneath the sand. Shauna heard a sickening pop in her arm as he shifted the chain over his shoulder, getting ready to head up the ramp that led to the courtyard where her fate waited for her. His Eminence would want her walking to her death like a proper noblewoman of her breeding. She may be a witch, but she is still part of a noble house and daughter of a lord of the realm. The knight in the rear said to the other, making the leader stop and wait for the other knight to pick her up off the ground and place her back on her feet. She could feel blood starting to run from the side of her mouth, having bit her tongue almost clean through when she had hit a bump a few moments before. Move, witch! The lead knight grabbed her under her arm and continued pulling her out of the holding cells and through the gated archway that opened into the main courtyard of the manor she had been born and raised in. First, Shauna saw her father, and the look of contempt he gave her broke her heart. There was once a time where he had been proud of her and how she took over her mother's place as the woman of the manor, making sure everything ran smoothly after her mother became sick.
Beyond him was Stefan, who had been forced to sit on his knees while being bound and gagged by the 4 knights holding on to him. Standing over him and speaking to him was the cardinal, Matt, who looked to where she was being led by the knights to where they had gathered, waiting for her to be brought out from the manor's basement. Ah, and here she is. I think in time, once her spell is worn off you, you will come to your senses. As it is, I had considered putting you both to the stake, but you being the nephew of a king of an outside this kingdom, your death could be construed as an act of war. So instead, you will watch her burn. The cardinal turned toward Shauna and the 2 knights, who now both held her by her arms, making sure she didn't fall again. They dropped her on her knees, the more aggressive of the 2 who had been the one holding the chains, grabbing her hair and forcing her to look at Matt. Now you are the one we are here to deal with, it would seem. For the Lord hath commanded that witches such as yourself should burn, if they would not repent and turn from their pact with the devils of the old ways. He placed his red-clad hand on her forehead, pressing his thumb in the center and drawing an invisible cross on the skin. This is your final chance, Sabine. Do you repent and disavow yourself of the witchcraft of your ancestors like your father and sister have and your brother did in life? His hand continued to rest where he had placed it, looking down at her as the knight continued to still have a hold on her hair, the force he held her by hurting her neck. I would never turn my back on my mother's teaching. The rest of my family can make their own minds up and have. I refuse to turn my back on the old ways. None of the spirits I commune with have ever done a thing to hurt you or the Christ God you worship. They are a part of the land, like my mother and her mother before her. That is where we all end up. She managed to keep her voice steady during her reply, not willing to sacrifice her conviction in her beliefs. Then you have sealed your own fate. Tie her to the stake. He pointed behind himself, the knights following his order. The one who had been holding her head removed the manacles from her wrists, the metal having rubbed the skin raw over the several days she had been wearing them. As they began to walk her toward the woodpile, they passed Stefan and his captors, one of the men restraining him, removing the gag from the Black Knight's mouth. I am not heartless. I will allow the 2 of you to say your goodbyes to each other. Cardinal Matt addressed them, moving his head to indicate to the knights to allow her to walk to Stefan. I'm sorry they are forcing you to watch this. I wish you had left when you had a chance, Shauna said as he took some steps forward, pressing his forehead to hers as they came together. I couldn't leave you alone. He was trying to hold back tears. I will find you again, he told her as the knights pulled them away from each other, the 2 holding Shauna, dragging her to the wooden beam that had been found to use for her execution. The first of the knights let go of her arm and started to climb into the pile of wood and brush. He turned and reached down, pulling her up on the pile by her arms as the second of the 2 pushed her up, climbing up behind her and taking her under the arm again. The short walk across the wood was tedious, each step bringing a new sensation of losing one's balance. Once in the center, they roughly pushed her against the hard wood, one of them grabbing her arms and pulling them behind her body and around the stake. She felt the strain in her shoulders from being tied in an awkward position, the muscles and tendons stretching past their normal range of motion. Once the knights had finished, they jumped off the wood pile and stood stiffly on either side of Cardinal Matt. She looked in Stefan's direction, the knights holding him, having placed the gag back in his mouth. He shook his head, his eyes telling her that he could not accept this. He began to fight against his captors, yelling through the cloth in his mouth. Shauna watched as the knight that had been dragging her left and returned with a torch, standing before the cardinal and waiting to be told what to do next. It pains me to have to do this, but when tending a flock, you sometimes have to cull some of the animals to keep the rest of them healthy. I will give you one more chance, Lady Sabine. Will you repent your sins and leave the old ways behind, or do you choose death? Cardinal Matt asked her again, watching her face for a reaction of any kind to his question. His eyes found hers, the flame of hatred for her in his eyes. If I said yes, would you believe me? She closed her eyes to avoid having to look at him, trying to not have to think about what was just about to happen to her. You have a point, witch. He looked at the knight holding the torch and motioned for him to throw it into the woodpile. The fire started to crackle as it spread to the dry wood, growing with each piece that it consumed. After a few minutes, the flames found the wood at Shauna's feet. The heat was close enough she could feel it on her feet and ankles, and she knew it would only be a matter of moments before her clothes would catch fire and the process of her death would begin. She looked at Stefan, his eyes wide as the flames began to climb up her clothes, burns forming where the burning cloth touched her skin. She closed her eyes and bit down, both sets of teeth hurting from how tight her jaw had gone. She was trying hard not give Matt, no, the cardinal, the satisfaction of hearing her scream in agony. It was hard, the burns on her skin growing worse with each passing second. Once the fire began to creep up her arms, she lost her composure, the scream that left her mouth carrying all the pain she had felt over the course of her entire life. She looked around one last time, seeing her father and horrified sister watching her death. The last thing her eyes saw before she lost consciousness was him, screaming and fighting against those who held him captive. Shauna's eyes shot open, the dim morning light filtering in through the window of her bedroom, making the white stucco of her ceiling look gray. It was the second night of having the same dream. This time, she was certain that it had been brought on by the incident the day before, where Matt had built and set fire to what was basically his version of a witch's pyre. The thing was, it had never been as long or as involved as it had been this time around. She realized that her heart was racing, and she was covered in sweat, the stress of the dream obviously affecting her body in the waking world. She also knew that Stefan was probably in a similar state from the dream, having confirmed with him that yes, he was having the dreams too. What really made her worried was that Matt had acted out because of the dream 2 nights prior. His temper and his insistence that she was keeping Mia from him and the dream was a bad combination, something she wanted to keep her daughter as far away from him as she possibly could. She decided to get up out of bed, the sweat-soaked tank and sleep shorts feeling incredibly uncomfortable now that she was awake and could feel the dampness on her skin. Shauna went to her closet and found the clothes she wanted to wear to work that day, laying them out at the foot of her bed and walking into her bathroom and stepping into the shower. Once she was finished getting ready for the day, she went downstairs to make sure that Mia had finished getting herself ready for school. She came down to see the girl on a video call with Julia, excitedly planning all the things they could do together once they became cousins. Shauna opened her mouth to say something, but then stopped herself, deciding it was best just to let the girls talk it all out. Good morning, Mia Bug. She walked up to her daughter, placing her arm around the girl and giving her a hug. Good morning, Julia. Aren't the two of you going to be seeing each other in less than half an hour? Shauna leaned into the camera's view, looking at Mia's best friend. Yeah, but we can't talk to each other at school. The girl had a point. She smiled and waved to Julia, turning away and pulling the decanter of coffee off the burner and poured half into her oversized thermal mug she had bought herself after Matt had kicked her and Mia out in favor of his pregnant mistress. Mia, do you have anything you need signed this week? Shauna turned and looked at her daughter, who had paused mid-sentence and looked to be trying to remember. I don't think so. Let me look in my binder. She pulled the clear plastic tote bag she carried for school, pulling the binder out and leafing through the folders, pulling a page from one and handing it to Shauna. Math test. I had to correct it and turn it back in. You need to sign that it's been done. She then placed the binder on the counter, waiting for the page to be returned to its place. When did you correct it? Shauna looked over the test, making sure everything looked correct, and then took a pen from the cup on the counter and signed off above the stamp the teacher used in the top corner. Well, I was at Julia's last night. See? She flipped the page over to where Mia had shown her work, seeing Katya's scrawling script writing across the bottom of the page stating that she had given her some help. Fair enough, Shauna chuckled and handed her the test back, which immediately went back where it belonged and into the bag. All right, let's get ready to go, she announced, popping back into the camera to look at Julia. She'll see you in a few minutes, Julia. I hope you have a good day. She reached to hit the hang up button, but stopped when Julia asked her to wait a minute. Someone wants to talk to you. She jumped up, grabbing the phone, the picture twirling around wildly as she went. She suddenly stopped, holding the phone up at arm's length, and put herself and her uncle into view. Uncle Stefan, I'm on the phone with Mia, and look who's also on. She excitedly leaned against the man, who looked like he had just woke up, his short hair going in several different directions. Good morning, Stefan. I hope she's not overwhelming you too much. She smiled and giggled at the camera. Shauna, I hope your day goes well. I did enjoy dinner last night. He blushed and smiled back at her. I think the children are plotting with my sister now. He side-eyed his niece as she gave a cheesy grin that was mirrored by Mia. I wouldn't doubt it. Shauna shook her head and smiled. She was trying to stay practical about everything, knowing that even though the two of them were attracted to each other, the biggest hurdle being the fact that he lived in Poland and she lived in the US, the other big one was Matt. Okay, Mia Bug, time to get off the phone and get your things for school together. She backed away a little, trying to get back to getting herself ready for work. Mom, tell Stefan goodbye. You'll hurt his feelings if you don't. Mia said, grabbing her mother by the lapel of her blazer. Have a good day, Stefan. Hopefully the meeting you have goes well this afternoon. Shauna smiled. Have a good time helping people get dressed. I will text you later. He smirked. It was Shauna's turn to blush. Mia hit the button for the call to hang up, placing her phone in the pocket of the bag she always placed it in, and jumped out of her chair and grabbed her breakfast dishes and put them in the dishwasher. Shauna grabbed the remainder of her things she needed for work and turned off the lights as she and Mia walked to the car and left for the day. If only she hadn't bought the red ones. If she had actually listened and bought the black booties, we wouldn't be stuck with these monstrosities. Shauna held the pair of tacky, Western-style, thigh-high, patent leather boots up in the air for the other managers to see and inspect. I don't even understand why we sell these, she added. I know, but as you know, the customer is always right, the store manager, Kai said, laughing at the footwear. In matters of taste, Shauna finished, drawing a blank look from her coworkers. What does that mean? Hannah, one of the other department leads, asked with confusion in her voice. The customer is always right in matters of taste. It's the full quote. She looked at everyone else in the break room, all the managers and department heads gathering for their weekly meeting. Oh my God! My nose won't stop itching. Western thigh high? I can't even imagine that.
I can't.
Ooh. Western thigh high? No, that like rubs on the inner. No.
Yeah, there's places leather does not belong. Especially for us six side girls.
Okay. Oh my God, you want me to say what? Okay. I'm gonna have to say this with a straight face. She placed the shoes down on one of the tables, many of the women coming up to examine the out-of-place boots. But she wasn't right in taste either, if those boots say anything about her. Hannah poked at the toe of one of the boots, her nose scrunching up at the pebble texture of the faux leather. I mean, you're not wrong. Kai was the next to look at the boots, holding them up to her legs and giggling. They go all the way up to my fupa. She broke out in a howling laugh as the next woman, Sarah, took her turn with the boots. Oh, they're my size. She sat down as she slid her flats off and unzipped the back seams, placing her feet in and zipping her legs securely into them.
She began to strut around the room like a model on the catwalk, her gait impressively steady in the 4-inch stilettos. Everyone broke into a chorus of laughter at her shenanigans. I know a cosplayer who might actually need this exact pair of boots. What size are they? Kate, the lead in the children's department, pulled her phone out, taking a few pictures and opening her messenger app. They're an 8.5. Sarah started to take the boots off, looking back at Kate for an answer. I think that might actually be Aya's shoe size. She's making a Nubia cosplay for Comic-Con this year. She excitedly texted the pictures to her friend. I can set them aside for a few days while you and your friend talk it out about the boots, Shauna said as she took the boots back from Sarah and sat them to the side so they could start their meeting. Kai began the meeting discussing the store's sales stats and by how much they had made their monthly goal. She then explained how it would affect their monthly bonuses after the new bonus structure the company was rolling out took effect. Everyone groaned. This was the 5th year running the company had restructured how it did its employee bonuses, messing yet again with everyone's monthly budgets. They need to stop this. It's getting a little beyond ridiculous. Sarah's irritation was coming out, not like she had made any attempts to hide it from those in the room. This is coming down from corporate, as usual, and there's nothing any of us store managers or the district managers can do about it beyond just giving the company our feedback on the issue. Kai attempted to soothe her upset managers, but it did little to assuage them. Shauna yawned and blinked, opening her eyes back up to see the wall of her room in the manor in the dream. She was sitting on the bed, looking out the window at a dark, stormy sky, the wind pushing the trees to the side as it blew across the open fields that belonged to her father. It concerned her that this was happening when she was not home or around friends. The door to the room slammed open, her father storming in with her newly Templar-frocked brother and their young sister behind him. What is the meaning of this? He waved a piece of parchment around in the air. His anger was on the verge of turning into rage. He threw the paper on the bed next to her, and she turned and looked down to see what it was. He asked me to marry him. She looked up at him and smiled. Did you know that his uncle is the king of Danes? Do you know how this will look when I have to respond that I had already promised you to someone else? He was seething, his face as red as a beet. You hadn't told me that, Shauna replied. Her and her sister Carolina, no, Katya's eyes met, a terrified look in the younger girl's eyes. She wondered what her father had said this time to have her so scared. If I hear another quip from you, I swear you won't be marrying either, and I'll send you to the convent. His cheeks puffed up under his graying beard. Yes, father, she said, and returned to looking out the window at the raging storm. Now, next time you see your beloved Black Knight, you are to call the engagement off. You will not be marrying him. He turned on his heel and stormed past her siblings, who had been standing and watching the exchange. Sabine, you know that he is still grieving, mother. If she were still here, she would have talked some sense into him. He's been very unmoored since her death. Alaric walked to her, kneeling next to her. If mother were still here, we would all be still practicing our ways and not the ways of the Christ. You wouldn't be wearing that silly frock and vowed your life away to them. Shauna knew what she was saying would be taken harshly, but she needed to say it to him. It was my choice and mine alone. I know that father and I converting has caused you so much inner strife, but it is our choice, just as it is your choice to continue with the ways of our ancestors. He was being her brother at the moment, and not a brother in his order. I would be careful what you say around the others in your order. They may not take as kindly to the type of counsel you give me. Carolina and I were cornered by 2 of your fellows in the order the other day, and all they were concerned with was converting us. Shauna's reply was woven with frustration and sadness. I want you to know that I do feel that father is in the wrong as far as who you are to marry. I feel the nephew of a king, even one that is foreign to us, is going to be a much better alliance than with an old lord who has too much money and land and has already had 3 wives who have all died in childbirth. It makes you an offering, and I do not wish that fate on you. Alaric placed his arm around her, hugging her. Shauna closed her eyes, feeling the tears start to fall. She opened them again when she heard the sound of the microwave beeping.
She looked around to see Kai and several of the others standing or kneeling around her. Are you okay, Shauna? You closed your eyes and, well, it was weird. You were here, but you weren't here. Then you started crying and dropped to the floor. I've never seen anything like it. I think you might need to see a doctor. Her store manager placed her arm behind her, helping Shauna to sit up. Here, have some of that stinky tea you like. Kate pulled the mug from the microwave, placing a bag of her Earl Grey that she kept around for her breaks and when she needed a pick me up. Thank you. I think I'll be okay. She tried to assure everyone in the room. She hadn't even been aware she had fallen. No, I have to send you to get checked out by a doctor per company guidelines, Kai emphasized. But I have to make sure that the set gets done. It was supposed to have been finished yesterday. Shauna protested as one of the other ladies took her cup of tea and Kai helped her to stand back up. So it will be there tomorrow when you come in. Besides, the customers don't know the difference in the end, she said as she helped Shauna get on her feet and made sure she was steady. I'm taking you to the stat care to get checked out. And then, when they clear you, I want you to go directly home when I bring you back to your car. When I get a text that you made it home okay, I'll make sure that you clock out. I'll make sure that's your clock out time for the day. Kai turned to the bank of lockers along the wall. She unlocked her locker and pulled her purse from it and turned. Okay, everyone get back to your departments. We'll try this again in a day or two, she added as she walked back to Shona. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Go get your things from your locker. She motioned with her head, Shauna following her directions and getting her bag and coffee mug. I'll be back. Let everyone know that I'm out for a few hours and we'll be back as soon as I can. Kai led her out to the car, still ignoring Shauna's protests as they both sat down. All right, what's going on? You have been floating around all morning. Kai turned, looking her right in the eyes. Her gaze was the same as Alaric's, and it hit Shauna like a brick to the head. Kai was Alaric, but she wasn't. But her eyes and the soul were him. It's nothing. I'm fine. She tried to deflect the question like she had done when she had still been with Matt. No, it's not. What is going on? She persisted. Fine. I've been having weird dreams, and I haven't been sleeping well. Doesn't help that Matt essentially built a witch's pyre in my front yard with an effigy of me on the stake. Shauna explained, the look in Kai's eyes still remaining the same. What else? There's something else you're not telling me. Had she been aware of the dream? Shauna looked down in her lap and blushed as she thought about Stefan. What's his name? Or her name, as the case could be, Kai asked. His name is Stefan. He's my friend Katya's brother. Shauna began picking at a nail, wanting to do anything but look Kai in the eyes. I see. Kai sounded as though she wasn't fully satisfied. We've been to dinner, and he showed up when Matt was getting violent after building the pyre. I'm pretty sure he put Matt in his place, she explained, looking at the other woman out of the corner of her eyes. So he rescued you. Interesting. You like him, right? She turned back to face the wheel, hitting the button to start the car and starting to back out of the spot she had parked in. Well, yeah. Shauna felt like she was being interrogated by her mother, like she had when she had been a teen. She found the handle on the door, grasping it, and her knuckles going white. So why not go out with him more? She looked at her, then back at the road. He lives in Poland. That's where Katya is originally from. Shauna continued, looking to the floor of the car, focusing on her feet.
Hydrate.
Ugh.
Got to keep the
So,
vocal. Yep.
So, long distance relationship. Not the worst thing in the world. If it feels right, I would still try, Kai advised. She then noticed Shauna's posture and changed the conversation. Okay, why are you sitting like that? Your knuckles are whiter than a ghost skin. The comment sounded a little more critical than Shauna thought she had meant it, but it still made her flinch a little.
Sorry, it's just that I get very nervous when someone else is driving. Shauna tried to ease her grip on the side handle, but her hand didn't want to listen. Why is that? There was a concern in her eyes, making Shauna think she already knew the who. Sorry, it was something Matt did when Mia was a baby. It's nothing really. She was having trouble speaking, her voice getting lower with each answer she gave. Kai pulled over into a shopping center's parking lot and parked, turning to look right at Shauna. What I'm seeing right now is some very deep trauma, she commented as she watched her passenger's body language. I'm sorry. She tried to apologize again, but was cut off. The last thing you need to be doing is apologizing. What the fuck did dipshit do? Kai had been one of the people who had helped Shauna after Matt had kicked her and Mia out, making sure they had a safe place to stay and got Shauna a job in her store. Mia was maybe 2, 3 months old at the most, and he came home from hanging out with some of his friends, high as a kite, and insisted we needed to go for a drive to get Maya to fall asleep. He started driving erratically, played chicken with cars coming from the opposite direction, drove off the road. Finally, he flipped the car. She told her about the incident. The only other person, other than her therapist, to hear about the driving incident. She hadn't even told Katya about it. He enjoyed torturing you way too much, Shauna. I am so glad that you and Mia are away from him for the most part. But I think you need to go to the court with the pyre and tell them. That wasn't only endangering you, it was putting Mia at risk. That's not a father. That's a child. Kai was visibly angry. And I just realized I keep flipping between Mia and Maya. I apologize. And I swear, this is only Dr. Pepper. It's only Dr. Pepper. Swear to God, drunk me reads better than sober me.
Well, drunk you doesn't technically, or drunk or tipsy you doesn't trip over the words as much.
I know. That's anyway.
I know that's literally your point, but it's like,
Matt better steer clear of me for the foreseeable future. I'm not going to let things like that rest. You are too nice of a person, and he didn't deserve you. You and Mia deserve better. She sat back in her seat and looked out the front windshield. Okay, I'm going to pull out of this parking space, and I'm going to finish the drive to Stat Care. Once we're done there, I can take you home, and one of the other girls can help me get your car back to you after we close. Or I can pick you up in the morning. Choice is yours. Kai pulled the gear shift out of park and pulled forward through the space in front of the car, and then drove back out onto the road they had been driving on. Thank you, Kai, was all that Shauna could say, her body gradually relaxing as they got closer to their destination.
wiffle ball bat. Wiffle ball bat.
Emotional damage.
It's a fictional character, but on this particular program, you will notice that we have no problem with discussing the potential unaliving of fictional characters.
We're going to have to look at our cooldowns because Stab 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 has an hour 17-minute cooldown yet. That is weird. Okay. Anyway,
Weird. Is all of them like that, or
I mean they each have a cooldown, but I don't.
but there's a way to set that. I don't know. That's probably something we have to do in the back end.
Yeah, so we roll up 6 prompts each week. The first 2 are concepts. So, build it around the concept.
Take that, depression.
The second set of 2 are starting first lines. Usually what I do with those is that I start with the line and I go with it. And then I might realize that something needs to go before that. So I write it before that. But it's where I start my writing process. And then the dialogue can go anywhere. Dialogue, and you can even change it. Okay. So I need some more because I might cackle a few times through this.
Oh, yeah, because you're up next. The Izzy Bug is up next. So, yes, very much so. And, CD, if you stick around, you get to vote. Everybody gets to vote. Even if you're not writing this week's prompt, you get a vote. We are very adamant about you get to vote. You either get to vote exactly how bad we're going to be fucked for the week, or, kind of goes with it. And it's definitely one of those that it can get very hilarious very quickly, because God knows that we are, as you can see, we all had the same set of prompts. We all had one chosen prompt, but we all went, okay.
Yeah, yep. Trisha told you. Yeah, so number one, we all go our own way based on the genres or based on how it made us think in that moment. And sometimes, Kesh put a couple of the other prompts in there. Leon went with one that wasn't the official prompt. And that's fine. It's yes, there is an official one. This is, what we're all going with. But sometimes you just aren't feeling it and you can use one of the other five. I did give Kesha a rash of grief because the more she starts putting in multiple prompts, that means at the end of the year, before the anniversary episode, Julie and I have to sit down together in the cord and go through 600 prompts and rip a bunch out because they've been done and we need fresh. Now, on the other hand, though, if you guys get it down to where it's less than 100 in each category, that means we're only going to roll 3 times next year, right? One for concept, one for starting line.
No. Okay.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Nope. Shut up. No. No. We have enough trouble coming up with and writing our actual prompts for the week, let alone our shit. Now we're supposed to come up with a bunch of other ones. Now, that brings me to another side point that not a lot of people have gone on. If you come across a prompt, a line, a concept that you would love to get added into the list of prompt options, by all means, submit it. Send it to holdmypenpromptcast@gmail.com. You get credit. I mean, last week, Julie had come up with one outside of our official, brainstorming session and submitted it. And that's how we got, I'm not comfortable when other people are driving,
And honestly, that is my mantra when anybody asks me why I'm always behind the wheel of my car, is because I'm not comfortable with other people driving. I've been in more car accidents where I was not the freaking driver.
Right? Well, and same for me as well. We had this whole discussion last week when it came up. And Kesh was saying, "Wait a minute, you don't have a problem when I'm driving." And I'm like, if I didn't have stage fright, I'd be an actress. That's yeah. Because I usually am focused on my phone, reading a book, watching a television show, constantly talking to her, anything to not be quiet and sitting there and paying attention to the fact that she gets freaked out when the big old semis go flying by and they're not even holding logs. Okay? These semis that are going past us aren't even holding logs, and yet she still is like, I'm not comfortable. I need to, nope. And I'm like, okay, your anxiety is making me anxious. Like, I'm good.
Yes, if you want to submit prompts, absolutely.
Oh, please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Let me pull up the master list. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the front door. I'm adding one to the starting first lines right now. Right fucking now. As I was adjusting my bra, she entered the room and I said,
It's not what you think.
It's not what you think.
Oh my god, it almost makes me want to freaking land on that one.
Submitted by Leon Nagel. In the list! In the list! For the record, all of our Pack in the Reader prompts are now in here. And can I just say, the one that was submitted by author R. Knight was long as fuck.
Was it a concept or a...
No, I am pretty sure it was a starting first line, so that's where I put it. The rest of them were all kind of like quotes. So, and that would be helpful too. Let us know. Do you think it's a starting first line? Do you think it's dialogue? Do you think it's more of a concept? So there we go. All right. Now, we are already at 11 o'clock, and this is usually about an hour past where we normally kick off with our time adjustment. But let's go one more time. Oh, there we go. Now, this is picking up where... Oh, honey. There we go. This is picking up where I left off 2 weeks ago, where Callum and Odette had gotten... Callum's picking Odette up from Seattle Tacoma International Airport, and they've gotten in the rental car and everything. And they are now... They're getting ready to leave his car that they are leaving in long term. Okay? There we go. His brow creased more, his frown deepening, but he remained silent. It is better if you tell me. We do have over an hour to drive. Will you stop needling me? I swear you're a fucking cat with those claws. I will let that slide, as you are clearly upset. Out with it, Callum. He groaned with a note of growl to it. Okay, fine. Why did Finn call you anyway? What do you have to do with this? He eased the vehicle out of the parking lot and toward I-5 north out of Seattle. Odette glanced through the windshield at the traffic. Honestly, mon ami, I do not know. Callum flinched and gripped the steering wheel a little tighter. I'm not your friend. Quit calling me that. She clucked her tongue. Oh, but we were almost family, Callum. That makes us more than friends. Were. Almost. He checked the side mirror on traffic in the other lanes. You left him, so we're not family. Oh, is that what he said? Callum caught the drop in her voice. An edge of deep pain laced her words. He turned just enough to notice her lowered eyes, her sudden focus on a nail in her lap. He waited, expecting her to say more. She didn't. Lowering his volume to a mere whisper, he pressed. Okay, then. What did happen? Odette sighed, heavy enough that he felt it like an additional weight in the car. We wanted different things. I wanted what Neve and Mick have. He didn't. So you did leave him, he replied gently. He stole a brief look at her, careful not to lose focus on the road. She flinched, slumping deeper. And for good reason, he continued. It's in the past, mon chéri. She shrugged before straightening in her seat. So tell me why you are so angry. You cannot escape me in this car. He hissed sharply through his teeth, his cheek twitching. Why are you so interested in my mood? Odette tucked a strand of loose hair behind her ear. You came to fetch me at his request.
I could have driven this myself. I've done it dozens of times. So you are angry, but it feels deeper than just irritation at him. Callum expelled the tension in his shoulders, relaxing into the upholstery. I was heading home anyway. Really? Her tone bordered on incredulity. I was under the impression that you rarely go back to Thistledown. Yeah, well, getting attacked last night means my house isn't safe anymore. What? Are you okay? She reached out to touch his arm, then seemed to think better of it and pulled back. Your concern is touching, Deddy, he replied dryly. I'm fine, not a scratch on me. He flicked the turn signal, eyes scanning traffic. Who? Who would attack you, mon chéri? Her voice held a tone of true concern, a sound he hadn't heard since childhood. He wondered if she'd used that voice with his brother. He shook the thought away, exhaling a small breath heavily. Not sure. It was definitely a professional crew. Night vision, tactical gear, the whole nine. He pushed the accelerator a little further, hating the weight of the question he was about to ask. Did Finn ever mention the collective? Her soft gasp told him that he had. I thought they were a myth, a scary story. She brought her hand to her chest, covering her heart. Callum, what do we do? If they're real... She trailed off, the tremble in her voice choking off the rest of her words. I think they're very real, and I think they are bigger than just the Crawfords. She twisted violently in her seat to stare at him. The Crawfords? What are you saying? Is there a lion in the wolf's den? They've been in our midst this whole time? No, that's not what I'm saying. He looked at her then. Really looked at her. She was beautiful. She didn't overdo makeup and had an effortless air of sophistication. He didn't understand her choice in Finn. You've stayed at Thistledown for years, Deddy. Do you remember the summer of 91 when you couldn't come because we were out of the country? Vaguely. That was 30 years ago, Callum. I was only 5. Yeah, I was 10. Feels like a lifetime ago and yet just yesterday. He paused a moment. Remember how the next summer we had Crawford on staff? Yes. What are you getting at? Callum checked the mirrors again. We killed his family, Daddy. We killed his grandpa, his dad, his uncles. You did what? Her shrillness felt like a slap. I didn't. Not personally, anyway. I got Fiona and Lachlan out of the room. But Mom and Da? Moira and Neve? They did. Crawford and his family burst into our penthouse to kill us, but we won. We killed them. His passenger was quiet, clearly mulling over the information he'd carried silently for 3 decades. But not John, she whispered. No, not John. Finn tackled him to the ground and then saved his life. Managed to convince Don not to kill him, to bring him home with us. He twisted the steering wheel as though wringing out a wet towel. 30 years is a long time, and John has been loyal, living with us and always protecting us. He shared with Da, then Finn, everything he knew about what his family did. But it wasn't much. That raid on us was his first time doing family business. But we left 2 of his cousins alive in their getaway vehicles. So either they are back for revenge, or the entire thing is bigger than just their family. Odette watched the scenery outside the passenger window flash by. This is why I always liked you. You're quick. Oh, you always liked me, eh? She scoffed. Why the animosity at the airport, then? Finn. He ground his teeth. The muscle at his eye twitched. What about him? You chose him, Daddy. He cringed. You chose Finn, out of all people. The admission disturbed him more than he cared to admit. Oh, she said softly. I think I finally figured out why you always kept your distance. He snorted. And why's that? He couldn't look at her, opting to watch the road and scenery out his own window. You were jealous, mon chéri. Pure, unadulterated jealousy. Is that so? It sounded like a question, but it wasn't. Quietly, she sighed. You never said anything. That's on you. He didn't reply. He couldn't. She wasn't wrong.
The miles flew by in silence. The weight of those last words hung between them, a verdict carried out. He kept his eyes on the road, letting the hum of the tires and the muted swish of passing traffic fill the quiet. Odette remained unnervingly still beside him, her gaze fixed through the passenger side window, a steady heartbeat, the only indication of life. Every so often, the sun would pop from behind the broken cloud cover, highlighting strands of her waist length blonde hair, stealing his breath, quickening his heart. He knew she could hear it, the way he heard hers pick up speed in response. This is going to be a problem. I shouldn't have said anything. Fuck. As they approached the exit for WA 522 East near Woodinville, a black SUV slipped into view in the side mirror, a flash of brief sunlight glinting off the windshield. He'd clocked it before, back at the exit to I-405, but he knew this road always carried a steady trickle of cars out toward Seattle suburbs. He told himself its presence was nothing, though his eyes kept snagging glimpses of it through gaps between logging trucks and other vehicles. The traffic ebbed and flowed. Cars passed them, and they passed others. Still, the black SUV continued to stay a steady distance behind. When the highway narrowed from 4 lanes to 2, passing traffic became rare, mostly people in too big a hurry or enough money to burn on speeding tickets. The SUV maintained its gap behind them. When the road widened again, it kept a steady pace. At the Monroe exit to US 2E, it made the turn with them, unhurried and casual. Callum shifted straighter in the seat and gripped the wheel tighter. He nodded ahead at the rear view. You see that? Odette shifted away from her window. See what? What is that asshole doing? He stared into the mirror, eyes flicking through the windshield every couple of seconds. What asshole? Callum, you're worrying me. She moved just enough to look into the passenger side mirror. There's a black SUV that's maintained a steady distance behind us since getting on the 405. He merged into the traffic through town, following speed limits. I see it. Maybe they're getting off in Monroe. Her voice sounded hopeful. He wasn't. We'll see. Nearing the other edge of town, Odette breathed a sigh of relief when the SUV turned off on Old Owen Road. They've turned off. Maybe they've switched tails. He didn't relax his grip or his vigilance. Callum. She kept her voice soft, placating and tender. I trust you, but do you think the attack might have you a little more paranoid than usual? He felt the words wash over him, a balm to raw nerves he hadn't realized were exposed, steadying him atop a precipice of calm. You using your new age witchcraft on me, Daddy? Her laugh was light, airy, like tinkling fairy bells. You know I don't have special powers, Mon Pote. You say that. He flicked a glance at her, a crooked smile tugging his mouth. He checked the mirrors, one by one, a nagging feeling that there was a second tail. But that's not what I'm feeling. She blushed, shaking her head. Callum, stop. You always made more of my mother's mysticism than I did. Oh, come on, Daddy. Lavinia and Cordelia told us kids enough. Ghost stories and urban legends aside, I know you Alleries have visions and see things. You don't have to lie about it. Her lips pressed together for a beat before she said, We're not made of magic. We do not speak spells. Callum eased back in his seat, his eyes scanning everything. So the feeling of calm that just swept over me when your voice went all soft, that's not you? That's not magic? No, it's not. Not the way you're meaning, anyway. Then how is it, really? He teased, but he was also genuinely curious. I'm sure you have theories. She turned to look out the window, falling silent again. Callum's heart stumbled and his chest tightened. He couldn't allow himself to examine that more. He blinked rapidly, shaking off the awareness. He flicked the turn signal, slowing the rental's speed. What are you doing? Odette asked as she leaned forward to look out his window. I'm not bringing trouble in our wake to Thistledown. Without waiting for her reply, he cut across traffic, the inertia pushing Odette back into her seat. He swung into a small parking lot bordered by a field of dry, rustling cornstalks. A freshly painted sign read, Pause, Rest, Worship. The little building sat under the spread of a towering tree, wayside chapel stenciled neatly above a glass-paneled door. Callum eased the car back into a space beneath swaying branches. He leaned on the steering wheel, eyes taking in the highway past her. We're getting out. Tourists at the chapel. She caught his look and followed it to the road. And why exactly would we? He interrupted her swiftly. Blending in. Callum exited the car, his phone in hand and the camera app open before she'd unbuckled. Oh, look at this, honey, he said, voice pitched too bright, sweeping an arm toward the chapel's white siding and the old maple overhead. It's so quaint. Odette opened her door and leaned an elbow on the door brace, clearly exasperated. Callum, what are you doing? He turned to her with a broad, fake smile, speaking through tight lips. I told you, blending in. He kept the phone pointed her way, framing the shot just past her shoulder, and gave her a quick wink. Her lips curved in a faint smile, turning away as though embarrassed, gaze drifting to the road. A sedan zipped past, then a pickup rumbled by, then nothing but the whisper of wind in the dry corn stalks. I think we're good, Callum. She turned back to him, her features softening as the performance for potential onlookers faded. He watched through his screen as a few more vehicles hummed past, the blur of traffic rolling by the roadside attraction. None screamed, secret organization tailing targets. Callum, did you hear me? Odette leaned a palm against the hood of their SUV. He murmured something under his breath, filming a few extra heartbeats worth of the traffic before finally lowering it. He stopped recording and put it into his pocket. Yeah, just being cautious. He moved to get back inside the vehicle. Let's go. Odette joined him inside. Cautious or twitchy? She asked, the corner of her mouth tipping upward. Callum shot her a look before buckling his seatbelt. You'd be twitchy too if someone tried to kill you. Fair enough. Can you tell me what actually happened? He eased the car back out on the road. I'm not sure how the 4 operatives got into my house, but I'm sure Team Alpha was already there and have a better picture. So Thistledown knows. The quietness in her voice pressed him on, coaxing more from him than just her words. Yeah, there were 4 of them. I didn't stick around long enough to search them. Ma'am? We do not walk across open laptops. Are you being Maggie Mayhem right now?
She'd be in something.
Go away. Yeah, there were 4 of them. I didn't stick around long enough to search them or anything, but when I called it in, that's when Phillips told me Moira showed up. He flicked his gaze to the mirrors in succession, unable to shake the feeling. Am I being too paranoid? At the same time? It appears so. You don't believe in coincidences, Callum. None of us do. We can't afford to. Not paranoid, then? A silence stretched between them for a few miles before she answered. Your caution is warranted, Callum. I don't know what Finn thinks I can do to help Moira, but despite our differences, we're still kin of a sorts, wouldn't you say? She turned her face toward him. Thistledown is essentially a compound. Bringing everyone we care about together behind its walls makes sense. Safety in numbers. He looked at her then, searching her face for reassurance. She nodded once, exhaling softly. Safety in numbers. They drove in silence for a while until Callum finally thumbed his phone off airplane mode. Bars crept back in. A voice alert chimed, then another. He checked the mirrors again. Can you put the voicemails on speaker? Of course. Odette reached for his phone and pressed play. Philip's commanding voice shattered the quiet. Dove, it's 10:45. Alpha has reported in. I need to speak with you immediately. Call in. The recording ended abruptly. He hissed, flinching at the order. She turned to him, concern etched between her brows. Well, that is certainly ominous. At his nod, she continued. Next one? He pressed his lips into a thin line. Yes. Again, Phillips filled the vehicle's interior with shouting, Drill Sergeant Sharp. Though Callum knew he never was one. Dove, it's 13:30 and I still haven't heard from you. Alpha is back. Call in. Callum's fingers whitened on the wheel. Siri, call Thistledown on speaker. Odette held the phone between them. 2 rings, then a pleasant female voice. Hello? Claiborne, right? This is Dove. I need to speak with Phillips. Yes, right away, sir. They heard chair legs scrape against concrete. Then Claiborne calling Phillips over the radio. He's on his way, sir. My iPad started to call somebody. I have no idea. Oops, I should be careful with that when I'm reading that out loud. I don't know who that was. The phone number was not in my...
Did Maggie try to call somebody?
No, it's because of what was in Call Thistledown. iPhone has this thing that when you say the voice name, I'm not saying it again and having the... I don't... Oh my gosh.
Lord have mercy. That's why I don't have contraptions like that. If you see me over here talking, I'm handling something real quick, so I'm just...
Oh shit. Whew. Okay. They heard chair legs scrape against concrete, then Claiborne calling Phillips over the radio. He's on his way, sir. Thank you, Claiborne. A few moments later, murmuring, a door closing. Callum, thank goodness. Do you have QC? Odette spoke up. I'm here, Derek. Callum shot her a look, one brow climbing. Odette gave the tiniest shake of her head. A silent not now, though her widened eyes betrayed too much familiarity. He frowned, returning his focus to the road. What did they find, Phillips? Why the urgency? They had trank guns, filled with a green liquid. Callum blinked once, the road blurring at the edges of his vision as he processed. Not bullets. Tranks? Not guns. His knuckles blanched against the leather. He flexed his fingers once, forcing blood back into his hands, then clamped down again. No, we don't know what the stuff is. I've directed them to take it to Neve's lab. How far away are you? His jaw clenched as his foot pressed the accelerator a bit more. 20 minutes tops. A door opened, more murmuring, the speaker crackling against fabric, volume fading. Callum looked at the phone. Phillips, what's going on? Boots scuffled. Something heavy dragged across the floor. Then Phillips' voice snapped, sharp and incredulous. Seriously, what is that thing?
A beat later, Phillips yelled, "Get that to the lab, now!" His voice came again clear, close to the microphone. "Callum, were you injured at all during that firefight?" "What? No, not a scratch on me. Why?" The guard exhaled in palpable relief. "Good. You better make that 20 minutes in 10. We'll do our best, Phillips, but County," he caught Odette's eye. Phillips interrupted. "County's been taken care of. Sheriff's one of you. Or didn't you know?" Callum's stomach dropped. His focus flicked between road and phone as if the asphalt itself might crack open. "Wait, one of us?" He caught Odette's eyes again, jaw slackened. "Phillips, what are you talking about? I've been read in, Callum. Just get home fast." The line went dead.
So there we go. No, it was not hilarious. I am really concerned because I have no idea who that was calling. Thank you, Trisha. Now, of course, this is only book 1 in the Blood trilogy, and I will be writing all 3 before I ever get around to publishing. So, yeah, this might be another year and a half in the making. So, yeah, that is the last submission for the evening. And no, I don't need a new boyfriend. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And we can leave the Apple voice thing out of it, please. Yeah. No. When you've got a baby daddy, 3 ex-husbands, and 3 grown children, you don't need a new boyfriend. A girlfriend, on the other hand, just saying. You're good, Julie. Okay. Ooh, and the prompts are starting to roll in. We are serious about this. Bring them on. Bring them on. And I'm not gonna lie, Trisha. I didn't see my BIL. I saw my balls, which makes that line so much more funny. Trisha knows what I'm talking about. Oh my. Well, okay. Brother-in-law, I heard balls, or I read balls. Why are they blue? Patrick, why are my balls blue? Just saying. No, we are not asking Iris. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. You know what? I think I'm gonna change that. Maybe Callum has changed his iPhone name to Iris. That way it doesn't hit again. Cause we ain't messing around with that. Nope, nope, nope. So when our fearless leader comes back, we are going to roll and vote. Gosh, it is so stinking hot in this room. I had to close the window that's back there behind the curtain because we had a little rainstorm, which means this room gets really, really hot because we do not have central air. Yay. The joys of an old farmhouse in the middle of downtown. Okay, so next week, August 23rd, episode 34 of season 2. Never seen a thunderstorm in your life? But you've been a fan of comic books for 40 plus years. You've never seen a thunderstorm? You either yanking my chain. Maybe not. Thunderstorms is basically a really bad rainstorm with thunder and lightning. If you're thinking tornadoes with the whirlies, yeah. The whirlies, those are most often found here in the United States. Although I think now I gotta know. Now I gotta know. Let's do a little bit of research. Google is my friend. Do other continents have tornadoes? Okay, my computer is listening to me. Yes, tornadoes occur on every continent except Antarctica. While the United States experiences the most tornadoes, other continents have regions where they are relatively common, such as parts of Europe, South America, Australia, and Asia. So, yeah, I could imagine right there, France, where it's at, tornadoes would not be a common thing. I mean, we don't see a lot of damage from tornadoes here. Something about the Three Rivers. Uh, Fort Wayne is known as the city of Three Rivers or Three Rivers, and so we've got I think two rivers merging into one, or one river merging or splitting into two. I can't remember which way it goes, but something about that we don't get a lot of damage. We see them; they show up, but they kinda just, like, stop, dissipate, and, move on or jump. Um, we have been known to get them, though. I used to work for Kohl's, and, the whole corner of the building was ripped off years before I started working there, and they had pictures in the back room. It was fascinating to see how much damage had been done. Oh, yeah. See, I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the, US Midwest.
I'm sorry, I had to explain to Glee some car issues. Well, it's the middle of the night there, but they were trying to get the battery handled.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing.
Brittany!
My job is never done. But either
Yeah,
which way,
Brittany.
here we go.
Yeah, Brittany. My dad was always talking about Brittany because that's where one of our other French sides came from. I guess.
We're starting off strong tonight. Izzy, I lost your sound. Turn your mic off and turn it back on. Do I not have sound either? Okay, you can hear me. Oh yeah, we hear you. Not easy.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, now we have you back. Like all of a sudden you were like mid sentence, and all of a sudden it just dropped, and I'm like, what the?
Yep. Okay. Anyway.
85.
Yes. 85. Oh shit balls. Hold on. Where
That's
did?
what I think. We're starting off strong tonight.
No, I. Numbers mean nothing, woman. Okay, 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 85. Roll again.
Why?
Because that already has 3 asterisks on it. Number 1. And number 2, it's writing about winter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're just writing about the cold. We missed the cold. 54. I already rolled again. I already rolled for the next one, but it's like, all right, here you go. 54.
No, do it again.
God.
Another triple asterisk saying that we've already rolled it in the past.
59.
That one's better. Okay, this one has not ever been selected before. Okay. A character discovers a mysterious door that leads to a place they've never seen before, but it's not a dream.
This comes in a lot like the portal in the woods.
Yeah, but so?
No, but not. I mean, but. All right, 87.
All right. Oh, God, 187.
Yep.
All right. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. 187. A character must solve a puzzle that seems to have no logical solution, but each piece brings them closer to an unexpected revelation.
Huh. I like that one.
That is unlike anything that we have ever rolled in a year and a half.
Right. Okay. We might get concept this time. 41.
41, starting first line. We had to talk about thunderstorms, didn't we? We had to talk about thunderstorms.
Oh, wait.
It wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it.
Ooh, God. Okay. 93. I think it's a reroll.
Yes, that would be a reroll. We don't have
3.
3?
3.
All right. We can go 103. We can go 103. Let me scroll back up here.
My nose is itchy tonight. Somebody's talking about me.
Mine's been itchy too all night. Okay, this one was marked for review. We were planning on reviewing this one in at the new year. The only thing is that Julie's used it.
I have used a lot of them, so
you have. It was okay. None of their colleagues had noticed.
I mean, that's kind of a generic one that they can be pretty much put in anywhere, so.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
$85.
I'm sorry?
85.
85.
85 is determined to be freaking used tonight.
It really is. It really is. Okay, go back to writing prompts, scroll down. 85. No! No, 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 no.
Why?
Because A, it's already been starred 3 times, and it has to do with a dead body and dinner.
I am not writing that one yet. All right, reroll.
We need some new material. We need new material.
I can't wait to the end of the year when we go through and start fidgeting people in. 31. Oh God.
Yes, you did, Trisha. And I've got that in the list, but we're gonna have to kill some dialogue tags before it can be rolled. Okay, so number 5, dialogue. You came back!
I mean, I like
just with how generic it is. You came back!
19.
All right, 119.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Look, have we not seen my last name down here? Kraus. That's as German can get. Oh, you'll fit in right well, Leon. Okay, and number 6, use this dialogue. Were you really spying on me? All right, so for those of you new in the chat, now it's time to vote. You choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6 for what you would like to either write or hear read or see what we all come up with for it. So we've got 1, a character discovers a mysterious door that leads to a place they've never seen before, but it's not a dream. Number 2, a character must solve a puzzle that seems to have no logical solution, but each piece brings them closer to an unexpected revelation. Now, again, those are concepts, so you work them into however you got to do. Those are usually the ones where Dahlia, has me screaming in horror. Start line, number 3, it wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it. Number 4, start line, it was okay none of their colleagues had noticed. Number 5, dialogue, you came back! Number 6, dialogue, were you really spying on me? All right, so we have Leon is sticking strong with his I will always go with 6. And Kesh says 6. Trisha says 5. What do we got here? What do we got here? I think. Hmm. I don't know. You're muted, my dear.
Sometimes it unmutes me right away. Sometimes it doesn't. Come on, guys. We got 8 people in here, and 2 of us are up in the boxes. So
We got 3 missing voters.
We got 3 missing voters.
I mean, really, technically, Blood Trilogy is entirely number 2. A character must solve a puzzle that seems to have no logical solution, but it's more of a mental puzzle. So, like,
See, now we got CD, and he's coming in with number 2.
He's coming in with number 2. They, yeah, he, she, it, we, they. I don't know, but I will never call you an it. I draw the line. People are not objects. Let's see.
Even though we get treated that way, but we are not.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 is really
does go against.
Yeah, I am a he. Okay. I appreciate that. I did assume correctly. I just hate to assume, but I always do. I don't know. But I was having a conversation with another author friend of ours. You were there, Julie. Trevor Billings, with his military. He's a military sci-fi author who delves deep into the historical lore and recreates it in a futuristic sci-fi. He has an entire book called The Wanderer that I would very much like to. Oh shit! Ad break in progress. So I don't know. Is a Malik in a change list? Yeah. I know we haven't voted. We don't always vote up here in the boxes, Julie or myself. We're kind of immune from the vote, and we typically we will try to push things over one way or the other if there's a tie or close to a tie. It's a dev thing. It's been so long since I've done any developmental anything. I'm lost. Okay. Me, I don't know. I don't know. I really kind of like 3 if I'm being terribly honest.
If I'm being totally freaking honest, what were they one more time? Because I scrolled up to look, and there's so many freaking things in between the.
Yeah. A character discovers a mysterious door that leads to a place they've never seen before, but it's not a dream. A character must solve a puzzle that seems to have no logical solution, but each piece brings them closer to an unexpected revelation. 3, it wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it. Number 4, it was okay. None of their colleagues had noticed. Number 5, you came back. Number 6, were you really spying on me?
Yeah, I like 3.
Oh, look at CD doing
anything
my job.
3 down will play into my story.
Hold the front door. Look at CD doing my job for me like a professional. This is awesome.
I'm gonna definitely keep him around.
He got it all in one. I normally can't get it all in one. This is awesome.
I think we will keep him.
Yeah, I think we
No. Oops.
No oops. Even Kesh is over here going, he's hired. Please don't take this the wrong way.
Hello, darling.
But also, if you want to take it the wrong way, take it the wrong way. Just. Hello, darling. My lovely Crowley. No, it does not mean more work. It just means Saturday and occasionally Sunday night, reprinting something in the chat. That's it.
And I mean, you're gonna have to hang around and make fun of us
Yep.
like everybody else does as well. I mean,
Yep.
that's just one of those things. You're just gonna have to mark it on your damn calendar and be like, "Hey, I have to go see the Goofballs on Saturday night." That's how that works. But once
this
you
is
start,
true.
It's one of those things that you're gonna find yourself here every week with a drink.
I think Leon just hit the nail on the head. And I foresee number 3, wildfire. Number 3, it wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it. Now, granted, is there an actual storm? Or is it the storm of a person? See, that's what I absolutely love about it, right? I cut off some words. Julie did a who rather than a thing. The whole point of the prompts is to spark something, right? So you've got number 1 and 2, which are concepts, which can be built around a whole story. It can be an extra subplot within the story that you're already working on. The starting first line and the dialogue, change pronouns, change names, change genders, change whatever you need to in order to make it work within your world or to make it sound like your work. On top of that, some of these are not grammatically correct. FYI, I have done my best to go back in and adjust them, but where we got them from, responsible AI use, we try. We try. Because it's just like, give me some prompts. Give me some prompts about this. Give me some prompts about that. And we throw a lot of them out because they're trash, right? Yes, cooperates next week. And that being said, we did get through all of the prompts tonight, so we will not be doing one tomorrow night officially, like not reading anything out, but who knows? Maybe we'll get bugs up our butts and burrs underneath our saddles and go live anyway. Who knows? Get our hours, get our shenanigans, talk about writing processes. I mean, that's true. Flood it. We can start fresh. Because good God, everything. How many times did I tell Julie to re-roll tonight? Because it's already been selected at one point throughout this year. We're getting to the point where everything is kind of going. So I do believe, based on what I am seeing here, I mean, Leon said he also likes number 3, but he did vote 6, unless you're changing your vote.
I mean, yes,
CD
everything from
did
3
number
to
2.
either fit in any of my stories. Literally any of my stories.
What did I say I wanted?
Female to fuck with this week.
Yeah, see, I voted for 3. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 8 people in the room. That means I do not have a vote from Julie and one other person who I can't tell who it may have been. Don't tease, Leon. Don't tease. Okay. So it looks like right now we have a tie between number 3. It wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it. And number 6 uses dialogue. Were you really spying on me?
Okay, tie as in I'm the deciding factor, or a tie, as in I get to play, or as in Izzy. Oh shit. Okay, so Izzy hasn't voted and I haven't voted.
No, I voted.
Okay. So
That
I
brought
need
us to the tie.
deciding vote, or I'm the wrench.
Well, Leon says that he's changing from 6 to 3.
So that makes it number 3.
That makes it number 3.
Damn it, I wanted to do monkey wrench.
It wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it. You know, which is actually kind of interesting, because it used to be that we never had enough dialogue, so you had to constantly re-roll on dialogue for the second one. But we're now having to do that on starting first lines. So there we go. Now, of course, as we've mentioned before, in the Discord, we do have a thread underneath the channel, writing prompts. You can go back in there. You can see 2024 season 1, and you can click 2025 season 2, and you can see all the different prompts that we've come up with. Maybe it sparks something non-show related, or helps you with writing some additional things out there. So it's all good. It is there. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. It is on our Beacons link, which is found on our profile here. And you can get the newsletter sent to your inbox. We do not spam you outside of the 2 starting emails, which, yes, I know they need to be readjusted because the old verbiage is no longer applicable. But regardless, outside of those, you will only get 1 email a week with the pertinent information, including the prompts in there, as well as links to our prompters' books. So right now on there, we've got our 2 most recent releases by Dahlia McEachern and C.R. McCormick. And we have our most recent audiobook release by our very own first prompter, Trisha Jones, in the comments. Narvash, A Vampire's Tale, 2nd edition, has its own audiobook now. So, bingo bango, that's all she wrote. Next week's prompt, due August 23rd, starting first line. It wasn't the storm that terrified me, but what was hiding in it.
Does this mean I'm gonna have to bring back fucking Wildfire?
I'm just saying it fits in there.
It fits in Wildfire, but it also fits in Cuts and Cufflinks.
What? No. I want to strangle every single character in Cuts and Cufflinks already. That includes the female protagonist.
Why? To Discord.
Guys! To Discord! Cuz your characters tend to make mountains out of molehills.
Yes, but it always ends up being a fucking mountain by the time I'm done with the molehill.
Because you do it to them!
They do it to themselves. I just happen to be the vessel in which it pours out of.
We are going to have to respectfully agree to disagree on this one, much like politics and religion. So, this is why we love each other. Mutual fucking respect, regardless of differing opinions. Anyway, folks, I am burning up. My body is a temple, and I need to fill it with incense. So, take us out, boss lady.
All right, everybody, have a great week. Watch for us. We might be live tomorrow. We might not. Who knows? But remember, don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. If you get arrested, assert dominance, and then call me to see if I have bail money. Otherwise, be brave, be bold, but always stay humble. And we will see you again next week. Cheers!